Pokémon, Building My Territory. Chapter 1. In short, with the current level of technology, it is impossible to develop any virtual reality game. This game called Pokémon World is completely false propaganda, and it may be another online game that earns money. Send. After clicking send, Chen Yan stretched contentedly, picked up the water and drank a few sips. He is a game area up owner of Blue Star Station C. Although he is far from reaching the level of 100, he still has hundreds of thousands of fans, and the money he earns is enough for him to live comfortably by himself. Since there haven't been any major game releases recently, the materials he had saved had long been used up. Coupled with fans' insistence on updating, Chen Yan had to find a way to sell one issue. Oh no! Is creating a video. So Chen Yan logged into the Steam platform to see if there were any new games. He didn't expect any good games. The past 2 months were the off-season for the game industry. Even if the Steam platform was the largest game platform in the country, there were no new games in these 2 months. They're all rotten fish and shrimp. However, bad fish and bad shrimps also have their uses. If you can find a game that is extremely bad, play it casually for a while, and then complain a few words, the video will be watered down. As expected of me, I can think of such shameless methods. Chen Yan silently gave himself a thumbs up in his heart. But then again, these games now, either you copy me, or I borrow from you, they are all so bad that people don't even have the desire to complain. Until he discovered this game called Pokémon World, he thought it was another Pikachu card-changing game, but when he clicked on it, he found that the page was clean. There is no promotional CG, no real-life demonstration, not even a picture of the game. There is just a download link hanging there, and there is a game introduction below. This game is exclusively produced by Arceus Studio. Through the latest developed virtual reality technology, players can get the same real feeling in the game as in the real world, giving players a fully immersive gaming experience, thus starting their own second life. The game is in the closed beta stage, reservation quota is limited, first come, first served. Good guy, this game introduction made Chen Yan laugh. He had seen game manufacturers make false claims, and he had also seen exaggerated publicity, but this was the first time he had seen such a game introduction that looked like it was made up. He took a look at the comment area below, and there were only 3 comments in total. Except for the 2 with question marks, there was also one questioning whether there was a bug in the review of the Steam platform. Chen Yan doesn't think it's a bug. The review standards of the Steam platform have always been loose. As long as it looks like a game, it can basically be put on the shelves. People don't care what the game manufacturers will say. Anyway, you can get a refund within 2 hours after playing. If you think the game is falsely advertised, just refund the money. However, the introduction of this game is indeed a bit outrageous, but the more outrageous the better. I am short of video material. Thinking of this, Chen Yan turned on the screen recording, then picked up the keyboard and started typing. He first criticized the game in the comment area. It was somewhat of a show effect, and it could still last for a long time. Hiccup. After drinking a few more sips of happy water, Chen Yan clicked on the reservation link. Current number of reservations, 3 people. Whether to reserve the game, yes/no. The introduction of the game is all made up, but the number of reservations is quite real. Forget it, I hope this game can be a bit more badass and unique, so that I don't even bother to complain. Chen Yan moved the mouse and clicked yes. Dong dong. There was a knock on the door. Please come in. Ryan closed the panel in front of him and looked up at the visitor. It's Uncle White. How is Flying Mantis's injury? After using the bottle of secret medicine you gave me just now, the injury has improved a lot, but now it is in a very depressed mood and is unwilling to eat. I'm afraid its body won't be able to bear it, White said worriedly. Well, I understand. Let it rest for a while. I will go see it in the afternoon. You want to see it? But you are not, young master. White hesitated. You want to say that I have been afraid of these monsters since I was a child, right? This was true before, but after experiencing these days, I have figured out that only with the help of the power of monsters can I protect the territory. Besides, I didn't just have you been rescued by a monster. By the way, where's the little guy who saved me? Ryan asked. You mean that bound sweet? It's now. Just as White was about to answer, a purple-red figure suddenly jumped in from the door. It looked around in a panic, and its eyes lit up after seeing Ryan. It jumped to the table, then quickly rotated the calyx on its head, flew behind Ryan and hid. Then he quietly revealed half of his head and looked towards the door. Well, it's here now. White said with some embarrassment, I obviously asked the giant needle bee to watch it. His beer. As soon as he said the giant needle bee, it came to the door aggressively. When Bounsweet saw it, he immediately retracted his head and covered his eyes with the calyx on his head. But the giant needle bee had already smelled the fragrance it was emitting. If it hadn't seen it hiding behind Ryan, it would have caught it long ago. I just wanted to see this little guy, but I didn't expect it to come by itself. Ryan turned his head and looked at Bounsweet. I didn't keep a close eye on it. I didn't expect it to escape and frighten you. White glared at the giant needle bee and said. It's okay. I just said that I will also use the power of Warcraft in the future. Let's start with this Bounsweet. Your courage and responsibility are admirable, and the territory will surely be restored and rebuilt under your leadership. This requires our joint efforts. Speaking of which, I hope you can count the damage to the houses in the territory. After all, the weather has not warmed up yet, and I don't want my people to freeze to death on the streets. Yes, I'll go now. White turned around and left with the giant needle bee. Okay, the needle bee has left. How long do you want to hide? Ryan carried Bounsweet behind him to the table in front of him. Bounsweet secretly opened one eye, and when she saw that the stingy bee was really gone, she immediately jumped up with joy. Ryan looked at the mangosteen-like creature in front of him. This was the first time he had seen a Pokémon at such a close range. The purple-red body is dotted with 2 yellow eyes. The bottom part of the body is white, like exposed fruit pulp, with 2 little feet sticking out from it, and 3 calyxes on its head. It looks very cute. Ryan reached out and touched the calyx of Bounsweet, and felt a plant-like touch on his fingertips. It had the body of a plant, but was alive and kicking like an animal. This is the magic of Pokémon. I didn't expect that I could touch a real Pokémon. Ryan's hands trembled slightly, but he still insisted on touching them again and again. Bounsweet narrowed his eyes comfortably. Although I don't know why I traveled here, it feels good to be able to play with Pokémon. Ryan smiled to comfort himself. Then he looked intently at the back of his left hand, which revealed a wheel-shaped pattern like a cross, and then a panel appeared in front of his eyes. Main mission: at least 3 players have made an appointment to download the game, the mission is completed and the reward has been distributed. Main mission: at least 1 player has officially launched the game, not completed. Reward: Pokémon food times 100 kilograms, lucky draw opportunity times 3. I hope there will be players logging into the game tomorrow. Having said that, the experience these 2 days has been like a dream. Ryan murmured to himself, and couldn't help but recall what happened in the past 2 days in his mind. Chapter 2. Ryan was an ordinary office worker on Earth, enjoying the blessing of working 996 every day. His parents died when he was young, and he was introverted and had almost no friends. His entertainment methods were just playing games and watching anime. If he wasn't good looking, he would have been called a fat otaku. Among the many games and anime, his favorite is the Pokémon series. Perhaps it was because of the lack of family and friendship in reality that he yearned for the special bond between people and Pokémon. Perhaps God felt his love for Pokémon, and one day he finished playing games and went to bed. When he opened his eyes again, he saw a middle-aged man in armor and a giant bee beside him. He was so panicked at the time that he had no time to speak, and he felt a sharp pain in his head and fainted again. In a half-awake state, he received this body, which was Ryan's memory. When he woke up again, he realized that he had really traveled to the world of Pokémon. But the time of the time travel seems to be a bit wrong. It is not the Alliance period in the game or animation, but the Kingdom period many years ago. The Pokémon world during this period was not peaceful. Wars between countries and territories were frequent. People's attitude towards Pokémon was still in the stage of fear and exploitation. They not only called them monsters, but also used monster devices to forcibly control them to participate in wars. And because the number of humans continued to increase, in order to feed themselves, they could only occupy the original homes of Pokémon. Therefore, the relationship between humans and Pokémon cannot be said to be like fire and water, but it can also be said to be on the verge of a sword. Some Pokémon will even form a beast-tide to attack human territory. Ryan's father mysteriously disappeared while resisting the beast-tide a few days ago. Although the body was not seen, it is probably a bad omen. The territory cannot be without a master for a day, and Ryan, as the only heir to this barony, naturally inherited the territory. But I don't know if it was because his father's disappearance was too much of a blow to him, and the pressure of suddenly inheriting the territory made him trance, so he unfortunately fell into the water when he went out to inspect the territory. Although Bounsweet, who passed by, called for help, the original body still died, and now the body is a soul from the earth. After receiving the memory of the original body, Ryan has been pretending that he has not recovered for the past 2 days, but in fact he is familiar with this body and the memory in his brain to prevent any flaws. After all, although his father is missing, there are still many people around him who know him, especially Uncle White, who has watched him grow up since he was a child. If he finds out something, who knows how he will deal with Ryan now. Until today, Ryan dared to come out of the house and really get in touch with this magical Pokémon world. Thinking of this, Ryan couldn't help but smile bitterly. Sometimes I want to travel to the Pokémon world and make friends with all kinds of cute Pokémon, but he wants to go to the world in the animation. How can he go directly to the Kingdom period? It's okay to travel to the Kingdom period, after all, he is the son of a baron. But he hadn't lived a good life with a maid on his left and Evie on his right. His father disappeared in order to resist the beast tide, and several knights who followed him died in the battle. The territory was also greatly damaged and needed to be rebuilt urgently. And the surrounding lords were also eyeing him covetously. After all, the territory was almost undefended. If they were not also cleaning up the mess after the beast tide, they might have attacked him long ago. Internal and external troubles, why are other people's crossings smooth, but I have constant troubles? Ryan sighed and stopped the movement of his hands. Meng-ji. Bounsweet looked at Ryan with a puzzled look, as if asking him why he didn't touch it. You are carefree, but that's right, there is nothing to worry about. Since you are here, you should make the best of it. Besides, I am not without a cheat. Ryan looked at the wheel-shaped pattern on the back of his left hand again. From the first day of his consciousness recovery, he found the pattern on the back of his hand and knew that it was his cheat. After some exploration, he also mastered the specific usage. His cheat is equivalent to a task panel. As long as he completes the tasks given on it, he can get corresponding rewards and lottery opportunities, such as the good medicine used on Scyther before. And issuing tasks is only its most basic function. Its most important function is to summon players from the Blue Star, which is also the function Ryan values most. Ryan was also a game enthusiast in his previous life. He knew too much about the power of the fourth disaster. As long as he could guide them well, all these problems in front of him could be solved. Fortunately, the players were summoned from the Blue Star. If they were summoned from the Earth, I might not be able to fool them. Ryan was somewhat fortunate. According to his understanding, the Blue Star should be the Earth in the parallel world. The technological level and historical process of the two are roughly the same, but there are also many differences. For example, there is no Pokémon game on the Blue Star. Although Ryan likes Pokémon very much, he only watches anime and plays games only through the plot, and has hardly ever been involved in battles. If he really summons those players who are familiar with Pokémon from the Earth, I am afraid he can't guide them at all. If it gets out of control, the destructive power of the fourth calamity is beyond the ability of a small lord like him to bear. But summoning players from the Blue Star is different. They know nothing and it is easier for them to guide, fool, themselves. I hope someone will come online tomorrow. Although I can connect to Blue Star's network through the task panel, I don't know how to design a game reservation interface. I can only hang a link on the game platform and see if I can kill the blind cat. It's a rat. Ryan looked at the number of reservations on the panel and felt helpless. In 3 days, only 4 people had made reservations, and he didn't know if one person would be online tomorrow. I should give it a try. After all, the helmet has been mailed directly to my home. Forget it, I don't want to think about this anymore. Ryan picked up Bounsweet and said, let's go to persuade the flying mantis together. How can we do it without eating? Confused. I want to eat too. Okay, I can't do without you. At the same time, Chen Yan was looking at the helmet in front of him with a confused expression. Just now, as soon as he clicked on the appointment link, there was a knock on the door. When he opened the door, there was no one at the door, only a package on the ground. Inside the package is a streamlined helmet with the words Pokémon World printed on it. Are you kidding? This can't really be a gaming helmet. Is technology so advanced now? And I just clicked on the reservation link and the address hasn't been filled in yet. Chen Yan was a little frightened, but he also had a strong curiosity about this helmet. Put it on, should it be okay? I'll just rub it on my head and not put it fully in. Chen Yan carefully picked up the helmet and slowly put it on his head. There's nothing. I knew it was a prank. Who cares? Damn it. Suddenly, a text appeared in front of Chen Yan's eyes. There are still 22 hours, 32 minutes and 15 seconds until the game closed beta. Is this game serious? Chapter 3. It's not an illusion. This text appears in front of my eyes. I can't see it when I take off the helmet. But why is this? There is no mask or goggles on the front of this helmet. How does this countdown appear? Projection technology? But I don't see any projection device. Chen Yan checked the helmet several times, but still couldn't figure it out, which made his heart feel like a cat scratching his head. No, I can't be the only one suffering and struggling here. Thinking of this, Chen Yan immediately called his good friend Su Ruofeng, saying that he was in an emergency and asking him to come and help quickly. Su Ruofeng didn't doubt that he was there and quickly came to Chen Yan's home. What's the matter? You called me here in such a hurry. I didn't even do my hair before I came here. As soon as he entered the door, Su Ruofeng started to mumble. He was a person who loved beauty very much. Going out without a hairstyle was simply torture for him. Actually, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Chen Yan looked at Su Ruofeng who was rolling up his sleeves and immediately changed his words. Then, he told the whole story. Are you saying that you clicked on a game reservation link, and then a helmet was delivered to your doorstep, and when you put it on, the countdown to the closed beta was displayed? Su Ruofeng gave a simple summary. Yes, and this game is also called a virtual reality game. Chen Yan nodded. Are you sure you're not filming some prank video? Su Ruofeng looked around, trying to find the hidden camera. I'm sure, if I lie to you, I will never be able to marry Sanjiu in my life. Okay, I believe you for now. He knew Sanjiu's position in Chen Yan's heart, and at this time he basically believed what he said. What about the helmet? I want to try it on. Wait a minute, I'll get it for you right now. After Chen Yan entered the room and got the helmet, he handed it to Su Ruofeng and watched him put it on. Are you sure you can see the countdown after putting it on? Why can't I see anything? Su Ruofeng took off his helmet and asked doubtfully. How is it possible? I can indeed see it. Chen Yan snatched the helmet and put it on himself. The text and countdown appeared in front of his eyes again. It seems that this helmet is bound to an individual, and only he can see it, but where did the manufacturer get your body information? Su Ruofeng was a little confused. Where do I know where to go? The address can be explained as knowing my IP address by clicking on the link, but the binding of this person is really hard to explain. Then what are you going to do? Call the police. What are you calling the police for? Saying that I clicked on a game reservation link, not only was there no loss of life or property, but they also gave me a helmet for free. Chen Yan rolled his eyes. It's indeed inappropriate. Moreover, this helmet is bound to a person. Others can't see anything if they wear it. They will definitely not believe what you say. Forget it, let's do it. Anyway, we'll know tomorrow what the game is about. Chen Yan said with some self-deprecation. That's all we can do for the time being. I'll go back if I have nothing else to do. Share this link with me and I'll make an appointment to try it out. No problem. There happens to be a camera at your door. Then we can see who sent the package. After Chen Yan sent Su Ruofeng away, he picked up the gaming helmet again. I hope you can surprise me tomorrow. Delicious. Eat slowly, no one will compete with you. Ryan lifted Bound Sweet up, and its whole body almost fell into the rice bowl. It seems that this food tastes good. Don't you really want to try it? Ryan looked at Flying Mantis and said. Hey! Flying Mantis turned his head disdainfully. I know you feel uncomfortable. When my father only brought Nidoking to resist the beast tide, he left you in the territory. Do you feel that you were abandoned? Hey! No. You also know that you are not abandoned. My father left you in the territory to deal with those fish that slipped through the net. There will always be some Pokémon that will break through the defense line and break in. Ryan said as he slowly approached the Flying Mantis. It turns out he was right. Without you, our territory would not be as simple as damaging a few houses. Hey! The flying mantis looked at Ryan standing in front of it in confusion. In its impression, this little master has always been afraid of them and never dared to get so close to them. Father is missing, and everyone is very sad, but this is not the reason for our decadence. My father left you here in the first place just to let you protect this territory that he has devoted countless efforts to. Ryan tried hard to make his tone more passionate. But you are like this now, let alone protecting the territory. It would be nice if the territory is not burdened by you. Are you worthy of your father's trust in you? Or are you frightened by the beast tide and are you ready to stay here and wait to die? Hey! Flying Mantis raised his head angrily and stared at Ryan. And Ryan was not afraid at all, but got closer to the Flying Mantis. What? Isn't what I said the truth? You don't even eat now, don't you just want to starve yourself to death to escape all this? Ryan put his hand on Flying Mantis's shoulder. Even me, a coward who has been afraid of you since I was a child, can regroup for the sake of my territory and dare to contact you. What can you do to escape? Spy Mantis looked at the hand on his shoulder, and his anger gradually subsided. Although it didn't grow up watching Ryan like Nidoking, it had been with Ryan for many years and naturally knew how scared Ryan was of them. But now Ryan dared to contact them for the territory, which had a great impact on its heart. Besides, my father is just missing. If he comes back one day and sees you like this, how disappointed he will be. Ryan slowly slowed down his tone. Don't let your father down. Cheer up and protect this territory with me, okay? Ryan pushed the food forward. Spy Mantis looked at the food in front of him, then looked at Ryan's face that looked like his father, and finally lowered his head to eat. Ryan looked at Spy Mantis eating, feeling a little guilty. What he just said was indeed a bit heavy, and it also felt a bit like moral kidnapping. But there was no way. Now the territory was in ruins and needed the fighting power of Spy Mantis. But its character is too arrogant, no matter how many good words I say, it is useless, I can only use these words to inspire its fighting spirit. Master, Lord White said he has something to report to you, he is waiting for you in the study now. I know, let's go, Bounsweet, let's either stay alone for a while. Ryan picked up Bounsweet and returned to the study. Master Ryan, the damage to the houses in the territory has been counted. 28 houses are seriously damaged and basically uninhabitable. There are nearly 100 houses that need to be repaired, but our territory does not have so much wood now. As soon as he entered the door, White began to report the situation. And when we were resisting the beast tide before, in order to get a better view and build fortifications, Lord Nord ordered all the trees around the territory to be cut down. Now we can only enter the Firefly Forest to cut wood, but the logging team would rather be punished than go because they are afraid of monsters. What do you think we should do now? There is nothing we can do if they don't want to go. The beast tide has just ended, and people are in a state of uncertainty. We can't force them too much. We will waive the punishment. When the wood arrives, let them help repair the house together. As for the wood problem, I will solve it. You go and prepare a few wood transport carts. I will use them tomorrow. Ryan ordered. Yes. I will prepare it right away. After White left, Ryan looked at the pattern on the back of his hand. The players' novice tasks are here. The natives are afraid of Pokémon, but the players are not. It's a good opportunity for them to see the magic of Pokémon. Everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. I hope that all those who have made reservations can go online tomorrow. Ryan is full of expectations for tomorrow. Chapter 4. Time quickly came to the next day. Don't be nervous, just treat it as a script. Ryan patted his face, trying to make his expression more natural. He was not good at communicating with others in his previous life, let alone having to act as an NPC to communicate with players now. This made him feel very nervous, fearing that the players would see his flaws. The creation points are beginning to be consumed. It seems that someone is already creating characters. The creation point is also one of the powers of Ryan Goldfinger. It has many functions, one of which is to create the player's body. The mission panel only projects the player's consciousness on Blue Star and does not provide a body. The creation of the player's body requires creation points. Ryan will obtain some creation points every day. The larger his territory is and the more prosperous it develops, the more creation points he will obtain. On the contrary, if the territory is destroyed or occupied by others, the creation points he obtains every day will also be reduced. If the territory is completely occupied by others, he will no longer obtain creation points. Although Ryan's territory has not been invaded by others, it has also suffered a lot of damage. There are not many creation points that can be obtained every day, which is why he limits the number of people in the closed beta. Master, the reception room has been cleaned and the servants have been sent away by me. You can summon those visitors from the divine realm. White asked respectfully. Just this morning, when Ryan told him that he needed 2 larger rooms to summon visitors from the divine world, he thought that Ryan had injured his brain because he fell into the water. But when Ryan conjured a bag of food out of thin air, he was a little doubtful. According to Ryan, he received divine enlightenment when he fell into the water, and the god of creation gave him the power to summon visitors from the god realm. Those visitors from the god realm were immortal and came to help them build their territory. Although White was a little confused, he couldn't explain how the bag of food was conjured. He could only follow Ryan's order and sort out the guest room. This matter must not be known to a third person. If it reaches the ears of the fanatical believers in Poseidon Temple, there may be big trouble. Ryan warned again. It's not like he hasn't thought of summoning players to do miracles to cheer people up, but the entire Arad kingdom believes in the sea god Logia. Including his own territory, there used to be the Church of Poseidon Temple, but it was destroyed by the beast tide, and the bishop also died in the battle. But soon a new bishop will come to re-establish the church. If they know that Ryan can summon visitors from the divine world, they will definitely invite him to the Poseidon Temple as a guest to study how he does it. Understood, I swear on my honor and life that I will never leak any information. White looked solemn. Don't be so serious. How could I not believe you? I'm going to the reception room first, so I'll trouble you to guard the castle gate. As you command. At this time, Chen Yan had already put on his helmet early and was waiting for the countdown to end. Su Ruo Feng also clicked on the reservation link after returning home yesterday, and a helmet was also delivered to her doorstep. But he didn't see who was delivering the package, and the image captured by the camera paused at that moment. Anyway, Chen Yan didn't believe that there was such a coincidence. It was not stuck in the morning, but it was not stuck in the evening. But it happened to be stuck when delivering the package. This also made him believe in the game a little more. After all, such magical things can be done. It is not impossible to develop a virtual reality game. 3, 2, 1, 0. As the countdown ended, Chen Yan began to feel sleepy, and then his eyes fell into darkness. Suddenly, a ray of light broke through the darkness and came in, causing him to open his eyes. Fuck! Why the hell am I in heaven? Chen Yan looked around in horror. He was now floating in the air, with a lush forest underneath. Hey, wait! Why am I moving on my own? Before he could react, his body suddenly fell downwards uncontrollably. I'm afraid of heights. Just when he was about to fall to the ground, his body suddenly stopped and began to shuttle through the forest. I can actually walk through these trees. It seems that I am still in the soul state now. Is this the opening animation? Chen Yan slowly realized that he didn't seem to have a body yet, so what a fright. So he observed the surrounding environment with great interest. The light. The texture of the trees. And the ripples of the water. It's just like the real thing. Damn, this game is awesome. Although it can't be touched yet, the picture alone can make Chen Yan blow up. Are these strange creatures what the game calls Pokémon? Damn, this caterpillar is so big. This unicorn is so big. Are these two birds fighting? The wings look quite small, but the wind they blow out is quite big. Before Chen Yan could take a closer look, he had already flown out of the forest and arrived in a town. This town has the feel of Western medieval architecture. Is it still in a feudal society? There are quite a lot of NPCs, and everyone looks different. The details of this game are so good. Which company can have this? This kind of strength? While thinking about it, Chen Yan had already flown above the town's castle, and then a text appeared in front of his eyes. Welcome to the world of Pokémon, please create your character before enjoying the adventure. What is your name? Taciturn. The character was named successfully. Please design your body and appearance. A figure appeared in front of Chen Yan. The figure looked exactly like him. He could adjust the body shape, organs, and other details at will. Oh, now it's time for the most annoying part of pinching your face. It's too troublesome to adjust every detail. So just randomly change it by 10%. It's a pity that the gender can't be changed, otherwise I really want to try a female role. The character creation is completed, please start your adventure in the Pokémon world. I wish you a happy journey. Then you should put me down, wait. You won't do the same thing again. Before Chen Yan could finish speaking, his body fell down again, and his consciousness fell into darkness. When he opened his eyes again, he found that he was lying on the ground with his back still feeling cold. Ryo! Am I not in the game? Is it possible? Chen Yan sat up suddenly, touched the ground first, and then took a deep breath. Holy shit! This touch! This smell! It's exactly the same as reality. This is really a virtual reality game. This feeling that was exactly the same as reality made him feel a little unreal. Is technology so advanced now? Why was there no news at all before? The other two people who woke up with him were also shocked. Oh my god! It's really an immersive game with all 5 senses. I've only seen it in online novels before, but I never thought I could actually play it. Isn't this a dream? Hiss, I still feel pain. A player pinched his arm hard and kept rubbing it until it hurt. Are you Ruo Feng? Chen Yan looked at the player who was rubbing his arm. Yanzi? Why have you changed? Didn't you pinch your face? Why do you look the same as in reality? Why do you pinch your face? I look so perfect. Any extra or missing point will destroy my beauty. Chen Yan looked at Su Ruo Feng, who looked proud, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Speaking of which, this game is really awesome. It's so real. If it weren't for the name on your head, I would have thought you were an NPC. Indeed, I really can't believe that the game can reach this point. Another player also interjected. Hello, let me get to know each other. My game name is One Leaf to No Autumn. You can just call me Lao Ye. Lao Ye saw that Chen Yan and Su Ruo Feng seemed to know each other, so he took the initiative to introduce himself. A leaf knows autumn? It sounds like the name of the game master. I am Last Night Westwind, just call me Westwind. I am taciturn, you can call me. Before Chen Yan could finish his introduction, the door to the reception room was opened. A man in a black dress walked in, holding a purple creature in his hand. The 3 players all looked at him curiously. Just as they were about to speak, they were interrupted by the man's words. Welcome all visitors from the God Realm. I know you have many doubts in your hearts now, but before I explain the situation, please put on your clothes first. Ryan looked at the naked 3 people in front of him and felt helpless in his heart. He had obviously prepared clothes and waited outside for a while, but when he came in, he still saw 3 unspeakable objects dangling around. Kids, don't look at it, be careful of needle eyes. Ryan quickly covered Bounsweet's eyes. Confused. Chapter 5. Ryan couldn't help but sigh as he looked at the 3 people in front of him who were busy getting dressed. The creation point can only construct the player's body, not even underwear. The player can only be naked at the beginning. Therefore, Ryan specially summoned male and female players separately and prepared clothes in advance, but the players seemed to be a little too excited and did not notice the clothes around them. Fortunately, he came to the male players first. If he went to the female players' room, if they didn't have time to get dressed, it would really be a disaster. After the 3 male players were all dressed, Ryan led them to the female players' room. After confirming at the door that they were dressed, he opened the door and entered. Looking at the 5 players, 3 men and 2 women, Ryan was very excited. He originally thought it would be good to have 2 or 3 people online, but he didn't expect that all the 5 people who made reservations were online. Main mission: at least one player has officially launched the game, the mission is completed and the reward has been distributed. After happily receiving the rewards, Ryan began the player guidance session that he had prepared in advance. Visitors from the God Realm, welcome to Firefly Town. I am the lord of this place, Baron Ryan. In our world, there are magical creatures called Pokémon living everywhere. They are smart and cute, and have various strange abilities. Ryan said as he raised the Bounsweet. Bounsweet also greeted the players cooperatively. Fuck, that's so cute. It looks like a mangosteen. Is it based on the prototype of the mangosteen? It smells so good, I really want to take a bite. Hearing this, Bounsweet was so frightened that he immediately hid behind Ryan. It can actually understand us. It seems that your IQ is not low. Ahem, Ryan coughed a few times to interrupt the discussion of the players. As you can see, the intelligence of Pokémon is not much worse than that of humans. Some Pokémon are even far smarter than humans. They and humans are both children created by the Creator God. Humans should live in harmony with Pokémon and live together. But due to various reasons such as wars, the relationship between humans and Pokémon is currently in a state of turmoil. If this continues, sooner or later a decisive battle will break out between humans and Pokémon, and all living beings will be devastated. In order to prevent this from happening, the God of Creation chose me as his only envoy to prevent this from happening, and sent you, visitors from the God realm, to help me. In the following time, hopefully we can work together to get the world back on track. After finally finishing the opening remarks, Ryan breathed a sigh of relief, not knowing what the effect would be. But looking at the excited faces of the players in front of them, this opening statement should be okay. Well, you can continue to use it in the future. Is this a background introduction to the game? It sounds interesting, but I don't know what the specific gameplay is. This is a virtual reality game. I'm happy to play Tetris in it. How do I log out of this game? Su Ruofeng asked quickly. He didn't want to be trapped in the game like Grandpa Tong in the anime a few years ago and couldn't get out. Do you mean to return to the God realm? You all have the pattern of the God of Creation on the back of your hands. After paying attention, you can choose to return to the God realm. But only your soul will go back. Your body will still stay here, so it's best to find a safe place before returning to the God realm. After hearing this, Su Ruofeng immediately tried it and found that there was indeed an option to log out of the game, which made him feel relieved. You are really obsessed with watching anime. Chen Yan was speechless, but he also had questions to ask. Excuse me, where can I open the player interface? Where can I see the levels and attributes? How do we upgrade in combat? I don't understand what you said before. As for fighting, of course it's about commanding Pokémon to fight. Excuse me then. Okay. You will understand these problems later. The top priority now is to rebuild our territory. Come with me. Ryan quickly interrupted the players' questions, and if he asked them to continue asking, he might reveal some flaws. There is no way, time is too tight, it is not easy for him to be like this. First, the player's consciousness is allowed to circle around the town, which is regarded as the opening animation. Then the authority to create the body is given to the player, and the face-making process is also included. But after all, he is not a game designer. He is indeed not good enough in some aspects and can only wait and improve slowly in the future. Before I lead you out, I want to emphasize one point. I am the only envoy of the God of Creation, and my orders are the will of the God of Creation. If anyone disobeys them, I have the right to send him back to the God realm and deprive him of the right to return to this world. Ryan made his tone a little more serious. He knew very well the ability of the fourth natural disaster to cause trouble. If there were no strict regulations, who knew what they could do? Let me go, what do you mean by what he said? This NPC actually has the right to ban his account? This is too exaggerated. Su Ruofeng poked Chen Yan with his arm and whispered. Maybe he is the protagonist of the game. The official uses him to control the actions of us players. But this game is too tough, right? If you disagree, your account will be banned. Aren't they afraid that someone will stop playing in anger? As soon as he said this, Su Ruofeng realized that he had asked an extremely stupid question. Chen Yan also looked at him with a fool's eyes. Brother, this is a virtual reality game. So many people want to play it. You are not missing one. Pucci, a burst of laughter came from the two of them. They turned their heads and saw a female player with two buns covering her mouth and laughing. Sorry, I didn't laugh on purpose. It's mainly because your eyes are too funny. After apologizing, the female player introduced herself. Hello, my game name is Jingle Bells, you can call me Belle, the beauty next to me is Xiu. Hello, I won't mention the game name, it's all on my head, just call me Zifeng, the one next to me can be called Yanzi, this is Lao Yet. You don't have to apologize, my question is really a bit stupid, not to mention others, just take myself as an example, as long as I can play this game, I will do whatever the Lord asks me to do. Su Ruofeng deliberately increased the volume of the last sentence to express his loyalty to Ryan. As they were talking, they had arrived at the gate of the castle, and as the gate opened, the sun slowly poured in. Fuck, this sun shines on my body and feels warm. Even the sand is clearly grained, this is completely the real world. I thought only the castle was made like the real thing, but I didn't expect the world outside to be just as real. The players sighed again. And White, who had been waiting at the door, looked at the people in front of him with surprise. He checked again and again before coming out. There couldn't be another person in the castle except Ryan. Where did these people come from? Could they really be visitors from the God realm? Thinking of this, the always steady White couldn't help but get excited. It seemed that Master Ryan really got the divine revelation, and the territory was finally saved. Ryan looked at White with tears in his eyes, and didn't say much. He just patted his shoulder, then turned to the players and said, "This is Knight White. He is the clerk and knight commander of our Firefly town. You can ask him if you have any questions about the territory in the future. In addition, except for me and Knight White, you can't reveal your identity as visitors from the God realm to anyone. Those who violate the rules will bear the consequences. If others ask, you can say that you are newly joined refugees." After seeing the players nod to show that they understood, Ryan began to issue the first task. Chapter 6. Our territory was attacked by a tide of beasts a few days ago. Although we successfully resisted the tide of beasts with everyone's joint efforts, many houses were still damaged, so we need you to cut down some trees and repair the houses. Ryan pointed to a few carts parked nearby. There are logging tools on the cart. Each person pushes one. I will go with you this time. Uncle White, please lead them to the city gate, and I will bring the flying mantis over. At this time, White also knew what Ryan said was the solution to the shortage of wood, but were these distinguished visitors from the God realm really willing to do the hard work of logging? Just as he was about to ask Ryan, he saw these visitors from the God realm lifting the carts with excited faces and couldn't wait to get started. White immediately gave up the idea of asking. It seems that a mortal like himself still cannot understand the thoughts of people in the divine world. From now on, he should listen to Master Ryan. Ryan also saw the actions of the players and couldn't help but find it a little funny, but he could also understand that he was very excited when he played the game and did the tasks, not to mention that in their eyes, this was a virtual reality game. Okay, let's go, we'll meet at the city gate. Clear. The players quickly lifted the cart and followed White. After watching the players leave, Ryan did not rush to find the flying mantis. Instead, he went to the study room first, where he planned to draw a prize first. A total of 6 lottery opportunities were awarded in the 2 previous main missions, but Ryan has never used them once. This time he and the players will enter the Firefly Forest. There are many Pokémon in it. Their relationship with humans is not good now, and there may even be Pokémon that hate humans. Although there was a flying mantis guard, just in case, Ryan still wanted to try the lottery to see if he could draw some good things that could be used. Let's test the water first, Buddha. No, there seems to be no Buddha in this world. God Arceus will bless me and I will be in my soul. Come out. Congratulations on drawing the Pokeball ×3. Elf Ball. Ryan looked at the classic red and white ball in his hand and didn't know whether he should be happy or not. Let's just say he's happy. This is just the most basic Pokeball in Pokemon games and anime, and it's indeed a bit far from what he expected. Even if you say you're unhappy, that's not a big deal. After all, this is an epoch-making invention in the Pokemon world, completely replacing the existing Warcraft device. Why are you only giving 3? By the way, can you make this thing yourself? I remember it seems to be made of cones. But Ryan just thought about it. Not to mention that he didn't know how to make the elf ball at all. Even if he knew it, he wouldn't dare to make it on a large scale. His current strength is still very weak, but he still understands the principle of the tree is as beautiful as the forest, but the wind will destroy it. The strength is still too weak. There are too many things to worry about. Forget it, let's not think about these things for now. Let's continue the lottery. Let's do a wave of 5 draws in a row. Congratulations on winning the Bug Spray X1, Miniature Experience Candy X5, Sweetness X3, Elf Ball X3, Sticky Pill X5. The usage of these items is displayed on the panel. Compared with the game and animation, there are still some differences. Not to mention the Pokeball. In the game, the insect spray seems to prevent the player from encountering weak wild Pokémon within a certain number of steps. The one he drew needs to be sprayed out manually to drive away the Pokémon. Dream. The function of miniature experience candies is the same as the experience candies in the game. They are used to increase the level of Pokémon. However, the names are different, and the specific experience points are not shown. Sweetness is used to attract wild Pokémon, while sticky balls need to be thrown out to restrict their movement after hitting Pokémon. Ryan looked at the several items placed in front of him, feeling a little disparate in his heart. He originally thought that ordinary mission rewards were basic things, such as Pokémon food and wound medicine, so all the good things must be in the lottery. Although the items he drew were all useful, they still did not meet his expectations. As if aware of Ryan's thoughts, after drawing the prize, a line of text suddenly appeared on the panel. This lottery is a primary lottery. After completing certain tasks, you can unlock higher level lottery opportunities. Hey? There are more advanced lottery draws? What can you draw? Can you unlock it by completing a few tasks? Ryan asked excitedly, but there was no response from the panel. Tisk, I thought you could communicate and solve puzzles like other people's cheats. It seems that this text is set in advance, and the prize will appear automatically after the first draw, right? Although the panel failed to answer Ryan's question, his mood improved a lot. No matter how many tasks needed to be completed, at least he had something to look forward to. I don't want to think about this anymore. Let's take the flying mantis to join the players first. Ryan put away the drawn items and stood up to find the flying mantis. When he arrived at the lounge, he found that Fanfiction mantis was in much better condition than yesterday. He was no longer as depressed and decadent as before, and his eyes were full of fighting spirit. It seems that you have really cheered up, good. This is the flying mantis that never gives up in my impression. Can you still fight now? Hey! Flying mantis raised his sickle-like arms to show that there was no problem. Okay. But before setting off, there is one more thing to do. Ryan took out the elf ball and said to the flying mantis. No matter what happens, don't resist, just trust me, okay? Although the flying mantis was a little confused, he still nodded. After getting the consent of the flying mantis, Ryan gently threw the elf ball to it. As the elf ball was opened, the flying mantis turned into a stream of red energy and was sucked into it, and the Warcraft device on his body also fell down. The elf ball landed on the ground and shook from side to side, then made a ding sound. Yes. I have conquered the flying mantis. Ryan picked up the elf ball and made a pose. Don't mention it. Although these words and actions are a bit shameful, they are indeed touching and fulfill one of Ryan's dreams. Ahem, come out, flying mantis. Ryan looked around guiltily, and after confirming that no one saw what he looked like just now, he released the flying mantis. Hey! As soon as the flying mantis was released, he looked at the pokeball in Ryan's hand with confusion on his face. It doesn't understand how the ball is so small, how it can be kept inside, and it's quite comfortable inside. This is the elf ball. You can go in and rest at any time in the future. You don't need to bring the World of Warcraft device with you. Only then did the flying mantis see the World of Warcraft device that had fallen to the ground. It hesitated for a moment, but still hooked up the World of Warcraft device and motioned for Ryan to put it on. In fact, based on the mutual trust between Flying Mantis and Ryan's father, they no longer need Warcraft devices. The reason why I still wear it is just to reassure the residents. But Ryan has made up his mind to change the relationship between humans and Pokémon. This Warcraft device is the product of mutual distrust between humans and Pokémon. Humans will select young Pokémon and tailor a monster device for them. Once the Pokémon disobeys orders, the monster device will release a variety of punishment methods such as electric shocks or acupuncture. After experiencing multiple punishments, Pokémon will form a psychological shadow. Even if their abilities become stronger when they grow up, they will not dare to break away from the device and will still obey human orders. Ryan really can't accept such a magical device. As long as this thing exists for a day, the relationship between humans and Pokémon will never get better. He wasn't worried about others being suspicious of him because he wasn't wearing a World of Warcraft device. Although using Warcraft devices to control Pokémon is mainstream, there are still many people who are unwilling or unable to use Warcraft devices. Seeing that Ryan was determined not to wear the Warcraft device on it, the flying mantis stopped insisting. It also felt that the thing was very uncomfortable to wear, and it could not fully display its own strength. I remember that in the Legend of Arceus game, there were wooden elf balls in ancient times. Could it be that the era I live in is older than that? Or is it a parallel world? Forget it, it's useless to think about it so much. Let's go, Flying Mantis, come with me to meet those lovely players. Hey! Chapter 7. As soon as Ryan arrived at the city gate, he saw the players surrounding White and the giant Needle Bee with excited faces, talking non-stop. Among them, the female player named Jingle Bells even attacked the giant Needle Bee. Uncle White, how did you catch this big hornet? Can you teach me? People have said this is called a giant needle wasp. Speaking of which, aren't you afraid of the bell? How dare you touch it? Why don't you dare? How cute is this giant needle bee? Cute. Suruo Feng couldn't help but shudder when he looked at the spear-like front legs and the poisonous stings on the tail of the giant stingray. He really couldn't figure out why Ling Dang thought the giant stinging bee was cute. Ahem. Ryan coughed deliberately, attracting the attention of several players. But the players' eyes only stayed on him for a moment, and then they fixed their eyes on the flying mantis next to him, and then swarmed around him. I'll go, this mantis is so handsome. The scythes on these two sides can't easily split a person in half. Is this also the Lord's Pokémon? It looks so strong. Does it have any special abilities? I think it's okay. It's not as cute as the giant needle bee. Ryan only felt that his ears were extremely noisy. He didn't understand why only 5 people could talk so much. That's enough. I understand your excitement and curiosity when you first arrive in this world, but I also ask you to exercise some restraint. The place we are going to next is very dangerous. If you are still so restless, I have to consider whether you are qualified to go with me. The players immediately shut up when they heard this. This is the only mission they can take now. If they can't go, they will fall far behind other players. When White saw Ryan calming down these visitors from the God Realm with just 2 words, he felt admired and breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. He really couldn't understand the behavior of these visitors from the God Realm. They didn't stop at all along the way. Either he would pester him to ask some weird questions, or he would touch everything here and there, and he would sigh after touching it. Moreover, when they met someone, they would go up and ask if there was anything they needed help with. Their enthusiastic appearance scared many of the residents and they ran home. In this way, they didn't let people go, and even wanted to push open the door of each house to have a look, and they said strange things like it was impossible to enter every house. White really had no choice but to ask people to bring the giant sting bee to him, hoping to use the giant sting bee to scare them a little and make them stop these strange behaviors. As a result, they did stop running around, but he and the giant needle bee suffered. This group of visitors from the God Realm were not afraid of the giant sting wasp at all. Instead, they kept surrounding them asking questions, and one girl even touched them directly. If he hadn't kept the giant needle bee restrained, he might have shot it long ago. White told Ryan these situations in detail, and then asked in a low voice. Master Ryan, are you sure they are visitors from the God Realm? Why are they behaving so weirdly? Regarding the reconstruction of the territory, White was really worried. They are indeed visitors from the God Realm. They may have just arrived in this world and are still a little uncomfortable with it. You go back and tell the frightened people in the territory that these people are refugees. They are grateful to our territory for taking them in, so they want to do something for us, but they are a little too excited. As for those strange behaviors, just say they are their unique customs. Ryan was also a little helpless. These players were really capable of causing trouble. He could cause so many things just by being absent for a while. I understand. I hope everything goes well for you this time and comes back safely. White wanted to take this trip for Ryan, but on the one hand, he could not control these visitors from the God Realm. On the other hand, he also understood that only through many hardships could Ryan grow into a qualified lord. Watching Ryan's retreating back, White prayed silently in his heart. Mr. Nord, no matter where you are now, I hope you can keep Master Ryan safe and sound. At the same time, in the castle of Ironthorn Town located to the west of Firefly Town, Baron Bach was looking at the man in the cloak in front of him with a gloomy expression. I just got the news that the young master from Yinghuo Town is not dead. Your action failed again. Impossible. I clearly asked the dream-inducing taper to hypnotize him and control him to fall into the river, and I only left after making sure that he had no life breath. The cloaked man retorted in a deep voice. But the fact is that he is not dead. This is not the first time you have failed. You also promised me the previous beast tide, saying that the beast tide would only attack other towns, and my town would not suffer any damage. As a result, what? The impact of the beast tide on me is no less than that of others. Bach shouted angrily. He stood up, pointed at the cloaked man and continued. It was you who said at the beginning that as long as I cooperate with you to trigger the beast tide, you can ensure that my town is safe and sound. After the beast tide is over, I can easily occupy other towns. But what about now? let alone occupying other towns. I haven't cleaned up my own mess yet. I have already explained the beast tide. It was just a small mistake. Besides, didn't I help you lead part of the beast tide to Yinghuo town next door? Although your territory was also affected, the loss is it's not big, but it's still capable of occupying other towns. Also, I hate it when people point fingers at me. The cloaked man suddenly raised his head. There was darkness under the hood, and there were two faint red lights staring directly at Bok. Bok then remembered that the person in front of him was not his subordinate, but a partner who was not weaker than him, so he put down his hand angrily, but he still said, "Now that this unusual beast tide has attracted those lunatics from Poseidon Temple, how can I dare to blatantly occupy other towns? They will definitely doubt me. Then you said that you had a way to make the young master from Yinghuo town die naturally, so that there would be no heir in their territory. I would temporarily manage it and no one would say anything. But what's the result? He is still alive and well now." The cloaked man didn't refute this time. In fact, he didn't understand why Ryan didn't die. This matter is indeed my problem. I will find a way to make up for it. Now that the Poseidon Temple's investigation team is nearby, I can't take action anymore. But I know a mercenary who can kill anyone as long as he is paid. You can let him take action. Aren't those guys from Poseidon Temple suspicious? Poseidon Temple is only interested in our church, and will not investigate other matters carefully. It should be possible to just fake the scene of an accidental death. If you are really worried, the worst is to kill the killer in the end. There will be no evidence to prove it. The cloaked man said in an indifferent tone. You guys from the Church of Shadows are cruel, but if I like it, I'll do as you say. Okay, I'll contact you now. After saying that, the man in the cloak turned and left. Before leaving, he glanced at the columns in the hall. After the cloaked man left, Baron Bok slammed the table. A small mistake? Do you really think I don't know anything? The beast tide brought me here deliberately. If we hadn't taken precautions in advance, we would have been swept away by the beast tide. Then become his puppet. Lord Baron, he seems to have discovered me. A figure flashed out from behind the column, half kneeling on the ground and said to Bok. The only reason why he can't find you is because the shadow has taught these people to be particularly sensitive to the breath of life. I originally wanted him to find you. Only by acting suspicious and irritable can he be less wary of me. Bok looked deeply outside the castle, and the cloaked man who had just walked out of the castle seemed to have noticed something. He turned his head and looked at the castle in front of him, and then sneered. Humph, idiot, no matter how you perform, it will not affect the final result. My god's shadow will eventually cover the entire world. Chapter 8. Phew, we're finally here. The mission location should be in front of us. Su Ruofeng took a breath and looked at the lush forest ahead, which was in sharp contrast to the bare ground behind him. This game is too real, which is not entirely a good thing. You have to walk through it step by step. I'm starting to miss the automatic path-finding function of those Legi web games. Then hurry up and play that kind of game. It's not good if the game is real. Look at how pretentious you are. Hey, I'm not just talking about it, but I'm also praising that this game is really real. Chen Yan was too lazy to argue with Su Ruofeng. He saw Ryan, who had been leading the way, stop, then turned to look at a stone behind him, and said with a slightly helpless tone. Okay, stop hiding, the flying mantis has already smelled your fragrance. Aren't you coming out yet? I'll let the flying mantis go over and catch you. As soon as he finished speaking, a purple-red shadow flew out from behind the stone, and then quickly rushed towards Ryan. Ryan hugged it and touched the calyx of Bounsweet with his hand. Didn't I ask you to wait at home? Why did you follow me secretly? You're not afraid of being picked up by the big-billed bird. There's really nothing I can do about you. Let's wipe off the sweat first. The smell of your sweat is too strong. Ryan wiped Bounsweet's sweat lovingly. He didn't know why Bounsweet liked him so much. He didn't have any contact with it in his memory. He couldn't have forgotten it, right? While Ryan was searching his memory, a fiery gaze was staring at Bounsweet in his arms. Excuse me, Lord, can I hold this Pokémon? Hey! Ryan looked at the female player named Ziu in front of him with some surprise. In fact, Ryan noticed this female player from the beginning. Several other players were amazed as soon as they came online, and their mouths almost never stopped. Although Ziu could also see that she was a little shocked, her facial expression remained unchanged and she always maintained a cold look. Ryan even wondered if she had facial paralysis. But now her eyes were particularly hot, which even made Ryan a little scared. Okay, then please hold me for a while. It was not easy for him to dampen players' enthusiasm for Pokémon, and Bounsweet didn't resist, so he gave it to Xiu. Xiu took Bounsweet with trembling hands. Although her face still maintained a cold look, her heart was already in turmoil. Ah! So cute! How can there be such a cute creature? It's a pity that it's not plush, but it's still so cute. I feel like I have no regrets in this life, oh. Of course, Ryan couldn't see the players' psychological activities. After seeing that Xiu and Bounsweet were getting along quite happily, he took the players into the Luying forest. As soon as they entered the forest, they saw many Pokémon running away. Some Pokémon that didn't have time to run could only stay in place and tremble, trying to hide themselves. Why do they run away when they see people? I didn't even see them clearly before they disappeared. After seeing this situation, Ryan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. It seemed that the relationship between Pokémon and humans had indeed become extremely bad. Okay, don't worry about those Pokémon for now. You will have many opportunities to come into contact with them in the future. Now pick up the tools on the cart and start cutting wood. Okay. The players quickly picked up the tools and prepared to have a big fight. By the way, before cutting down the tree, be sure to make sure there are no Pokémon on or around the tree. Don't accidentally injure them. Clear. Seeing the players' energetic expressions, Ryan nodded with satisfaction, while the flying mantis on the side also had itchy hands and expressed that he also wanted to chop wood. How could I forget you? Go ahead. The flying mantis relied on chopping down trees to make its forelimbs sharper. After getting Ryan's consent, it happily came to the tree, crossed its arms and slashed horizontally. With a swish sound, a tree fell down. The players who were still competing with the trees were very surprised when they saw this scene. Cut down a tree at once? This is too strong. Why does it need us? It can handle it on its own. Hurry up and chop it down. After a while, it will finish chopping down the trees, and our rewards will definitely become less. The players all sped up their movements. Fortunately, the flying mantis was stopped by Ryan after chopping down more than a dozen trees, which also made the players breathe a sigh of relief. This game is really interesting, and you have to compete with NPCs for tasks. This means that this NPC has its own artificial intelligence and will not act according to the set procedures. I just don't know if this is unique to the protagonist, or if it is an NPC with artificial intelligence. It's impossible. How can it be that luxurious? I guess it's just like the protagonist of the game. But I have observed the civilians in the town. Their actions and conversations have not been repeated, and they will react accordingly to our actions. Chen Yan recalled the fear shown by the civilians in the towns. It was so vivid, just like real people. I think it's okay. This is a virtual reality game. Even this kind of technology has been developed. It's not difficult to give NPCs full artificial intelligence. Indeed, what you said makes sense, but why wait for this kind of technology? The grass next to you seems to be moving. After hearing this, Su Ruofeng immediately turned his head to see what was in the grass. As a result, he looked carefully and found that it was the grass that was moving by itself. A blue creature with green grass on its head was running forward in a panic, then it hit a big tree and fell on its back. Is this also a Pokémon? Why does it look like a potted plant? What's wrong with it and it's hitting the tree? Su Ruofeng asked in confusion. I was scared by you, okay? Go and ask the Lord how to deal with it. At this time, other players also found some Pokémon hiding. Wow, this caterpillar is so big, and this bug has horns on its head. Damn, this morning glory actually grew legs and ran away? And why does this bug have 2 mushrooms on its body? When the Pokémons realized that they were discovered, they also began to flee in a panic, and the players and Pokémons were in a mess. Spy Mantis, Shadow Clone. Stop them. Spy Mantis created several clones by moving quickly, blocking the Pokémon, so that they dared not run around. Bounsweet, release your fragrance. Ryan ordered again. Menji. Bounsweet rotated the calyx and flew up, and began to emit its own fragrance around. The fragrance of Bounsweet has the effect of calming the mood. After smelling it, the Pokémon were no longer so panicked and afraid, and gradually calmed down. Then Ryan took out 2 bags of Pokémon food and distributed them to the players. Haven't you always wanted to contact the Pokémon? Now the opportunity has come. They are now much calmer. You can take these foods and try to contact them. When the players heard this, they were immediately excited and hurriedly took the food and slowly approached the Pokémon. The Pokémon also found that these humans did not seem to have any ill will towards them, and the food in their hands smelled so good. Here, do you want to eat something? Chen Yan held the food in one hand, came to the blue potted plant, and slowly handed it over. Walking Grass hesitated for a moment, looked up at the smiling human in front of him, and finally couldn't resist the temptation of food, and lowered his head to eat. Other Pokémon followed suit and ate the food in the player's hands. It's still a little itchy. Good guy, this food is eaten so fast, is it really so delicious? I want to try it too. Zifeng, are you shameless? You are fighting with Pokémon for food. Have you forgotten that you wanted to taste the dog food before, but you were chased by your own dog and ran all over the house? Brother! Why do you tell everything to others? Ha 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 ha! Looking at the laughing players and the Pokémon who were busy eating, Ryan felt that the picture was particularly harmonious. This is the future he wants. Chapter 9. After finding out that these humans really had no ill will towards them, many Pokémon that had been hiding came out. Now the weather has not yet warmed up, and there is not much food in the forest. They could not resist the temptation of Pokémon food, and took the initiative to approach and accept the players' feeding. Lord, what is the name of this Pokémon, and why does it have grass on its head? It's called Walking Grass, and it has grass on its head naturally. What about mine? This is a unicorn beetle, and the one next to it is a caterpillar. And this one of mine? That's yours. Ryan introduced Pokémon to the players one by one. Fortunately, his memory of his previous life was still very deep, and coupled with the Warcraft knowledge he learned since childhood, he knew all these Pokémon. Should we make a Pokémon encyclopedia or something like that? But there are no cameras to take photos in this era. Do we have to draw portraits one by one? And I don't know much information, I'm afraid it's a bit difficult. No, why do I have to do it myself? Can't I just let these players investigate and make it? It can also be a long-term task. Ryan felt that his mindset had not completely changed. He wanted to do everything himself, and ignored the role of the players. This is not good. Not only does it reduce the player's sense of participation, but it also adds pressure to himself. Let's talk about the encyclopedia later. Now the most urgent thing is to get wood. Thinking of this, Ryan began to call on the players to continue cutting wood. The Pokémon did not run away after eating the food, but stayed where they were and looked at the players curiously. After they understood that the players were cutting trees, not only did they not stop them, but some Pokémon even tried to help. Ryan couldn't help but feel emotional after seeing this. To put it nicely, these Pokémon are kind and pure in heart, but to put it bluntly, they are stupid. They are kind to humans just by feeding them some food. You know, logging is destroying their homes, but they don't mind and even want to help. No wonder they are bullied by humans even though they have such powerful abilities. The players also discovered this and liked the Pokémon a little more. Do we have to cut these trees? Isn't it equivalent to demolishing their homes? Suruo Feng felt a little reluctant and slowed down his movements. There's no way. You've seen the damaged houses in the town. Many people are homeless. We can't let them sleep on the street. Besides, this is a special case. Normally, we won't cut so much wood. Then we have to build houses in the future. We can't stay offline in the castle all the time. You don't have to use wood to build houses. You can try burning bricks. Brick houses are much better than wooden houses. I just don't know if the game has such high freedom. Chen Yan moved his shoulders and wiped the sweat from his head. He had only worked for an hour or two, but his back and waist were sore. It seems that the physical fitness of his game character is not high. In fact, it's not just him. The physical fitness of other players is not very high. When Ryan created the bodies for the players, he did not give them very high initial attributes. The reason is very simple. He didn't have so many creation points. The higher the player's attributes, the more creation points it costs to construct the body. As mentioned earlier, due to the destruction of the territory, Ryan can only get a few creation points every day. He has to reserve some just in case. He can only reduce some player attributes. This also caused the players to look a little weak, but this is only temporary, and the attributes can be improved in the future. Moreover, this world still relies on Pokémon to fight most of the time, and players do not need high physical attributes. Oh my god, I can't push it at all. Don't decorate it, you really treat me like an animal. Suruo Feng gritted his teeth and used all his strength, but the cart still didn't move, so Chen Yan could only unload some wood. No, it's just a little at a time. How many trips back and forth are needed? The territory is quite far from here. Ryan also discovered this problem. Cutting trees is quite simple, but transportation is a big problem. The surrounding Pokémon came forward to help push the cart after seeing it, but they were all small Pokémon, not very strong, and could not help at all. Looking at the Pokémon trying to help push the cart, Ryan suddenly thought of something. Spagos, Bounsweet, please do me a favor. He took out a can of Bounsweet and gave them a few instructions. The two Pokémon nodded after listening, and then flew deep into the forest. Okay, let's take a break first, I'll solve the transportation problem. Long live the Lord. I'm so tired, I feel like my body is about to fall apart. This game is really real. I'm not only tired now, but also thirsty. After hearing Ryan's words, the players collapsed on the ground, gasping for breath. There are water bags on the cart, and I also brought some orange fruits. Everyone can eat some to replenish their energy. Ryan took out the tree fruits that he had prepared in advance, and the players took them and ate them in big mouthfuls. Wow, this fruit is so delicious, and it's very juicy. Lingling took a bite of the orange fruit, her eyes suddenly lit up, and she took a few more bites. Aren't you curious about this taste system? It's exactly the same as in reality. What's so curious about this? You've already been given the sense of smell and touch, so how can you lack the sense of taste? And when I was in the territory, I pulled up several blades of grass to taste them, so I knew I had a sense of taste. Looking at Suruo Feng, who looked very proud, Chen Yan shook his head helplessly. Actually, the sense of taste is fine, but the key is that you still feel full after eating. This feeling can be simulated. This game is really amazing. I don't know if it can be more realistic, such as whether you can urinate or defecate. Yes, I tried it in the territory before, and urinating is okay. I haven't had time to try the big one yet, but it should be okay. You tried this too. I have to admit that you are really awesome. Chen Yan admired Suruo Feng a little. He had never seen him so eccentric in real life. He directly released his nature in this game. How do you think the Lord will solve the transportation problem? Will he call those people in the territory to help? Forget it, if they could come, they would have come a long time ago. Didn't you hear Uncle White say that those people are afraid of Pokémon? I don't know what they are afraid of. This Pokémon is so cute. Lingling touched the round silk spider lying on her shoulder, with an unconcealed love on her face. Suruo Feng's eyes twitched slightly. He always felt that this girl's aesthetics was a bit strange. Before he had time to complain, he saw several figures flying from the depths of the forest. Spy Mantis is back. What Pokémon is following behind them? Isn't that the rhinoceros beetle? I saw it in the opening animation. So handsome. Does the Lord want them to help us transport wood? There were 3 Pokémon wearing dark blue shells and a thick horn on their heads following Spy Mantis. I didn't expect to find Heracross. Ryan was very excited. Heracross is a Pokémon that is proud of its super strength, claiming to be able to lift objects that are 100 times heavier than its own body weight. Now the transportation problem can be easily solved. Chapter 10. When Ryan saw the Pokémon trying to help push the cart, an idea flashed in his mind. Since the Pokémon with weak strength can't help, why not find some Pokémon with strong strength to help? So he took out the sweet that he drew and asked Scyther to go deep into the forest to find a Pokémon with strong strength to help. Sweet would be the reward. Scyther did not disappoint him and actually found Heracross. The 3 Heracross did not approach them, but kept a distance, with a bit of vigilance in their eyes. When they heard that they were helping humans transport things, they refused at first. But they couldn't resist the temptation of Sweet, and with the repeated persuasion of the 2 Pokémon, they agreed to come and see. Ryan also noticed their vigilance. He took the Sweet from the head of Scyther, took out a few bags of Pokémon food, and slowly walked towards Heracross. We have no ill intentions. We just want you to help transport some wood. This can of Sweetie and these foods are our reward. If you are worried, you can ask these Pokémon. They can prove it. Heracross looked at the Pokémon around him, and then at the sweetie in Ryan's hand. Finally, he nodded and said he was willing to help. The players around him were staring at Heracross, especially the 3 male players, whose eyes were almost shining. Which boy didn't catch bugs like rhinoceros beetles when he was a child? Now seeing such a handsome Heracross, he was so excited. Don't stand there. There is a rope on the cart. Tie the rope to Heracross. Hearing Ryan's reminder, the players came back to their senses and quickly turned the cart over, and then tied the rope to the 3 Heracrosses. Leave 2 people here to continue cutting trees, and the other 3 people each hold a cart and come back to the territory with me. Who of you will go back? It doesn't matter who goes back, we have to come back anyway. These woods can't be transported in one trip, so we can change shifts when the time comes. The players discussed it and decided to let Lao Ye and the 2 female players go back first. After they discussed it, Ryan turned to Scyther and said, I will go back to the territory first. Please stay here to protect them and go back to the territory with them at night. Yo! Let's go! The 3 Heracrosses bent their hind legs, fluttered their wings slightly, and then rushed out like an arrow from a string. Only a few players were left looking at each other in bewilderment. Why are you still standing there? Hurry up and chase! Seeing this, Ryan shook his head helplessly, then hugged Bounsweet and chased out. Damn, are they that strong? Can they still run? Do they know the way? They're running ahead. Stop talking. We won't even see their shadows soon. The players also chased them out. On the city wall of Firefly Town, several militiamen were standing guard. It's called a city wall, but it's actually a small stone wall 3 or 4 meters high made of stones. Its symbolic meaning is far greater than its actual function. Do you think those refugees can bring the wood back? My house is completely uninhabitable. These 2 days, my family has been living separately with relatives. This is not a good thing. A militiaman said with a worried look on his face. Who knows? You saw it this morning. I always feel that those refugees are a little bit mentally abnormal, but they dare to enter the Firefly Forest, which is admirable. Didn't Lord White say that it is their unique custom? Even if you don't trust them, you have to trust the Lord. I definitely trust the Lord, but wait. Why is there smoke and dust ahead? It's a monster. Blow the horn. Several militiamen blew the horn in a hurry, and the low sound of the horn resounded throughout the territory. The people in the territory felt nervous when they heard the horn. The destruction of the beast tide 2 days ago was still vivid in their minds. The damage caused to them has not been healed yet. Could it be that they have to experience it again? They didn't have time to think about it. Just as they were about to pack up and take shelter, the horn suddenly stopped again. Why did the horn stop? Are there any monsters? Could it be that the guys on guard saw it wrong? That's impossible. There has never been such a situation before. How about we go to the city gate to take a look? Several brave people were ready to go to the city gate to see what was going on. As soon as they arrived at the city gate, they saw the militiamen talking to the Lord, their eyes full of respect and admiration. There were 3 monsters with huge horns standing next to the Lord. Not only did they not attack humans, they seemed to have pulled a few carts of wood. Little Arthur, what's going on? The people bravely approached. They didn't dare to disturb Ryan, but found a militiaman to ask about the situation. Just now when we were on guard, we found monsters, so we blew the horn quickly. As a result, when they got closer, we saw that there were people next to them. They were the refugees and the Lord in the morning. The Lord asked us to stop blowing the horn, saying that he hired these 3 monsters to help transport wood, and asked us not to be nervous. Little Arthur said excitedly. Really? Can monsters be hired? Won't they hurt humans? I've said long ago that Lord Ryan is a capable man. I've always thought he could do it. That's not right. Didn't you say before that Lord Ryan was afraid of monsters since he was a child and couldn't be a lord at all? Slander. He slandered me. I'll sue you for slander. Although the people around couldn't believe it, the fact was right in front of them. The 3 monsters stood there docilely, without any intention of attacking them. This made them change their view of Ryan greatly. To be honest, although they supported Ryan to inherit the territory before, it was because Ryan was the only child of the old lord and they had no choice. They didn't trust Ryan very much. How could a lord who was afraid of monsters protect the territory? But now Ryan not only overcame his fear of monsters, but also had the ability to hire monsters to work for the territory, doing what the old lord didn't do, which made them regain confidence in the future of the territory. And this is also the result Ryan wanted to see. If it was just transporting wood, there were actually other ways, and Pokémon didn't necessarily have to help. So why did he have to hire Pokémon? On the one hand, it was to let the people in the territory have more contact with Pokémon and slowly eliminate their fear of Pokémon. On the other hand, it is to achieve the current effect and rekindle the confidence of the people in him and the future of the territory. Now it seems that these goals have been achieved, and he has killed 3 birds with 1 stone. Okay, let's not talk too much, Uncle White, please find some people to hand over these woods, they have to go back to continue the transportation. Understood, I'll call someone to hand over. White's eyes were full of relief and pride. After hearing the horn, he came to the city wall as quickly as possible. He thought there would be a fierce battle, but he didn't expect it to be like this. This made him feel proud of Ryan in his heart, and he also believed more and more that Ryan had indeed received divine inspiration, otherwise how could he change so much? After handling the handover of wood, Ryan did not follow several players back to the forest. They all knew the basic process and didn't need Ryan to follow them all the time. His most important task now is to continue to improve this game and enhance the player's experience. When I played the game, what attracted me? Mission? Reward. Looking at the remaining creation points on the panel, Ryan began his game completion plan. Chapter 11. In the evening, the players all returned to the territory. I'm really tired. I feel like my body is about to fall apart. Suruo Feng rubbed his sore shoulders. In reality, he had never done such a tiring job. It's true that I'm a little tired. Maybe it's because of my poor physical fitness. Maybe it will get better after I upgrade in the future. And we can't always let us chop down trees. I think it's okay. It's quite interesting to have so many Pokémon accompanying us. The bell is still full of energy. Of course you're fine. I just abducted a Pokémon. If there is a Pokémon willing to follow me, I won't feel tired. Suruo Feng looked at the orb silk spider lying on Ling Dang's shoulder with envy. It shouldn't be. Can't I attract Pokémon with such a handsome face? Is it possible that they all feel dirty? Alas, sometimes beauty can be a burden. Shut up. Chen Yan wanted to slap him against the wall. How could he have thought of asking him to try this game together? What a mistake. It would be great if we could abduct a Heracross, but it's a pity that he left after helping us and ignored us. Lao Ye recalled the handsome figure of Heracross. He really liked this type of Pokémon. It's okay. Judging from today's transportation volume, the task will be completed at least tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. You still have a chance. Chen Yan comforted Lao Ye with a few words. During the conversation, the players arrived at the castle, and a servant took them to the study. Looking at Ryan who was lowering his head to deal with things, Ling Dang quietly said to Xiu. I just realized that our lord is so handsome. I feel he is even more handsome than the young Li Ziyi in real life. Xiu also nodded in agreement. Before they could continue their discussion, Ryan had already raised his head and looked at them. Thank you for your hard work today, but the task is not completed yet, and everyone's efforts are still needed. Yes. The players replied weakly. Seeing the players' low interest, Ryan could understand that the work of logging was indeed boring and tiring, and he had to find a way to restore the players' passion. Thinking of this, Ryan continued to speak. Of course, I won't treat you badly. After the task is completed, I will distribute rewards, and those who contribute the most will also receive special rewards. The word reward instantly attracted the attention of players. Reward? What reward? I suddenly feel full of power. It doesn't matter if I get a prize or not, I just like cutting down trees. The players were suddenly full of fighting spirit and wanted to fight now. Okay, it's already very late now. It's time for you to return to the God Realm. Let's talk about cutting down the trees tomorrow. The flow of time here is the same as in reality, and it will be dawn on the blue star side soon. Going offline? It turns out we have been in the game for a day. Players still feel a little unsatisfied. By the way, Lord, if I go offline, what will happen to this orb silk spider? Belle pointed to the orb silk spider lying on her shoulder. Only then did Ryan discover the existence of the orb silk spider, and was very surprised. He didn't expect that on the first day, there were already players capturing Pokémon. In his expectation, it would take at least several days of getting along with each other before the Pokémon can trust the player. It seems that this female player named Ling Dang is not simple. Don't worry, there will be dedicated personnel in the castle to take care of these Pokémon, but this is only temporary, you will have to find a way in the future. There are still very few players now, so Ryan can take care of the Pokémon for them. When there are more players in the future, they will have to rely on themselves. There is another way to solve this problem. Since you are the first visitor from the God Realm to conquer Pokémon, this is a special reward for you. Ryan took out a Pokeball and handed it to Belle. Taking the Pokeball as a reward was a decision he made after thinking about it for a long time. What he was worried about before was that if someone discovered that he had a large number of items that could seal and control Pokémon, it would arouse the covetousness of others. But then I thought about it carefully, and I realized that there is actually no shortage of items that can seal Pokémon in this world. Not to mention, there is a special crystal in Poseidon Temple that can seal Pokémon. It's just that these props are very rare and not as common as Warcraft devices. Therefore, as long as you don't use Pokeballs on a large scale, it shouldn't attract anyone's attention. Besides, the territory is now in danger. No matter whether you expose the Pokeball or not, others may attack you. So it is better to reward the players and let them improve their strength. What is this? A decoration. Ling Dang looked at the ball in his hand with some curiosity. This is called an elf ball. It can be enlarged or reduced. Is it useful? Come out, Bound Sweet. Ryan took out another elf ball and threw it upwards. The elf ball opened automatically and produced a white light, and Bound Sweet's figure also appeared. As you can see, this is a prop that can capture and carry Pokémon. You can put the orb silk spider into the Pokeball, so you don't have to worry about it running around even if you return to the God Realm. So magical? This ball is so small, wouldn't it be uncomfortable for Pokémon to stay in it? No, the environment inside is very comfortable, and it will also restore some of the Pokémon's physical strength and injuries. Ryan explained. Wow, that's great, thank you Lord. How should I use it? Just touch the Pokémon with the Pokeball, provided that the Pokémon has recognized you, or is powerless to resist, otherwise it will break free and the Pokeball will be scrapped. Lord, do you mean that this item can force Pokémon to be captured? Chen Yan interrupted. Ryan hesitated for a moment, but answered truthfully. Yes, as long as you can defeat the Pokémon, you can use the Pokeball to capture it. Ryan didn't want to say that the Pokeball can force Pokémon to be captured, but he thought about it and thought that fighting and capturing is the feature of the Pokémon game. And most Pokémon can recognize the humans who defeated them, and rarely have resistance. As for the problem that he was worried about players randomly capturing Pokémon and then not caring about it, at least there will be no problem now, and he doesn't have that many Pokeballs. Then if I let Belle help me defeat a Pokémon, and then I use the Pokeball to capture it, is that okay? Chen Yan continued to ask. Yes, you can, but the Pokémon you capture in this way will not recognize you. Not only will they not obey your orders, they may even attack you. I personally hate this practice. I still hope that you can make friends with Pokémon and let them follow you voluntarily. Chen Yan understood what Ryan meant. If he asked other people to help capture the Pokémon, not only would the Pokémon not listen to his orders, but Ryan's favorability would also decrease. At this time, Lingling also understood the use of the Pokeball. After enlarging the Pokeball, she said to the Orb Silk Spider. Orb Silk Spider, are you willing to be my partner? The Orb Silk Spider looked at Lingling's expectant eyes, took the initiative to touch the Pokeball, and then turned into a red light and was sucked into the Pokeball. After the Pokeball swayed a few times, it made a ding sound. Is this a success? Wow! Great! Lingling saw Ryan nodded, and happily jumped several times on the spot. I'm so jealous. How can she be so lucky? She has both Pokemon and Pokeballs. Su Ruo Feng seemed to have eaten a lemon. This Pokeball should be the first achievement reward for catching a Pokemon. It's okay. We still have a chance tomorrow. Let's log off first. Chen Yan roughly guessed what tomorrow's special reward would be. Ryan asked the servants to lead the players to the house prepared in advance to log off, and he prepared to implement the perfect game plan. And those players who went offline also caused some waves in reality. Chapter 12. Chen Yan slowly opened his eyes and looked at the familiar bedroom environment. He couldn't help but feel as if he was in another world. Am I dreaming? He took off his helmet. The game experience in his mind was extremely real, without the illusion of dreams. After confirming that it was not a dream, Chen Yan laughed. Ha 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 ha, I didn't expect that I could play virtual reality games in my lifetime. I really have no regrets in death. As he laughed, tears began to flash in his eyes. Chen Yan loves games. Someone once said that if you don't want to like something anymore, treat it as a job. But he doesn't think so. Even though he makes a living from games now, he is still full of love for games. That's why he sprayed those bacon games, saying that they were for show effects, but in fact he hated them for not fighting. No. Didn't I criticize this game before? Chen Yan suddenly remembered his comments on the Steam platform, and quickly opened the computer. He did not delete the original comments, but continued to comment below, "Brothers, I have something to announce. I am an idiot. I am ignorant. I dare to criticize such a big game, but I will not delete the above comments. Just treat it as a punishment for my outrageous words. This game is indeed a complete virtual reality game, just like the popular online game novels described many years ago, and the degree of reality is even higher. The novels dare to say that the degree of reality is 70 to 80, but it is no exaggeration to say that the degree of reality of this game has reached 100%. Whether it is the light and shadow effects or the five senses experience, they completely simulate the real effects. Sometimes you can't even tell whether this is a game or reality. Although I don't know how this is done, it doesn't prevent me from praising this game. And the degree of freedom of this game is quite high. There are not so many rules and regulations. You can interact with any object and NPC. The physical rules in reality also apply to the game. For example, you can burn wood into charcoal. Sandbox players are ecstatic. As for the gameplay, although this game can be said to be in RPG type, it does not rely on self-combat, nor does it have swords and magic. Instead, it uses various Pokémon. Players fight by commanding Pokémon, similar to pets in previous games. But these magical Pokémon are not as dull as pets. They have their own thoughts, emotions, and sorrows. They are smarter than the cats and dogs we raise in reality, and they are also very powerful. They can spit fire and discharge electricity and are omnipotent, which is very popular. Since I have only played for the first day, I don't understand many situations. I will talk about this for the time being. In short, this game is the best. It will be popular in the future and will become the #1 game in the world. By the way, in order to prevent others from saying that I am a shill, I will reveal my identity here. I am the Upmaster of C Station Silent Game King. I will also forward this comment to C Station. If there is anything untrue in what I said, I will quit the internet from now on, and everyone can supervise. After a burst of output, Chen Yan looked at his comments and nodded with satisfaction. Not bad, even though I stayed up all night, my brain was still clear. Wait. I played games all night, why am I still in such a good mental state, just like I just slept? Is playing this game equivalent to sleeping? Doesn't that mean I have twice as much time as others? In other words, it means I have twice as much life as others. Wow, this game is really... Chen Yan really had no words to praise this game. Just as he was sighing, the phone rang. As soon as he answered the phone, Su Ruofeng's excited voice came over. Hey, Yanzi, did we meet in the game last night? I'm not dreaming, am I? It's impossible for two people to have the same dream. You're not dreaming, this game is really real. Chen Yan found it a little funny. They were so tacitly in sync that they were both afraid that the game last night was a dream. Ha 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 ha, I knew it was true. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to play this game. By the way, didn't we players exchange contact information before going offline? I plan to create a game exchange group and invite them all in, so that we can have a place to discuss games in the future. It's indeed more convenient to have a group. Just invite me after you create it. No problem, I'll hang up first and chat in the group. Soon after hanging up the phone, Chen Yan received an invitation from Su Ruofeng. Last night Zai Feng invited you to join the Pokémon Saijao group. Do you agree? This group name is very good. Pokémon is the best. Agree to join. Last night Westwind, Yan Ziai has also joined, all 5 players are here, and we can talk about the game in the group from now on. Jingle bells, why are you the group leader? I feel unreliable. Shouldn't I, the first person to capture Pokémon, be the group leader. Last night Westwind, damn it, stop showing off. I'm already jealous. Be careful or I'll just give you a silent ban. One Leaf Knows Autumn, at Silent and Taciturn, you are really the game uploader on C Station. I've also seen the video you posted. Jingle bells, wow, so awesome, how can you be sure he is the uploader? One Leaf Knows Autumn, this uploader commented on the game we played, and posted a screenshot of the comment on C Station. Plus the name Silent and Taciturn, who else could it be but him? Last night Westwind, Yanzi, are you so high profile? Your fans must be going crazy. Chen Yan glanced at his backstage and smiled helplessly. Silent and Taciturn, it's true that it's going crazy. Many people even scolded me, saying that I didn't care about my face for the sake of making money. Last night Westwind, then what are you going to do? Silent and Taciturn, nothing, facts speak louder than words, and they will know I'm right after playing. Ziu, this game has an official website. The link is below the reservation link. I copied it. You can click in and take a look. Ziu suddenly popped up a bubble, but the news she said was very important. Everyone in the group clicked on the official website link. The interface of the official website is the same as the reservation interface, both are very simple. This also made everyone secretly mutter in their hearts, you have developed technology such as virtual reality, why can't you make the website more exquisite? The official website currently has only 3 major sections: Player Forum, Game Announcement, and Pokémon Encyclopedia. The Player Forum is a place for players to communicate with each other. Well, the game group seems to have been built in vain. The Pokémon Encyclopedia is used to introduce Pokémon. Now it only has the names of the Pokémon they encountered last night, without even a picture. There is also a note next to it that the encyclopedia can be compiled by players. And there is only one update announcement in the game announcement. Hey? The game has been updated on the first day. It seems that there were many problems in the test last night. But I don't think there are any bugs. Is it an updated function? Chen Yan clicked on the update announcement with curiosity. Chapter 13. Pokémon World Beta Version Non-Stop Update Announcement. Update Content. 1. Added a level system. Players can check their own and Pokémon's levels. Players' physical fitness will increase after upgrading, Pokémon's abilities will be enhanced after upgrading, and most Pokémon will evolve into new forms after reaching a certain level. 2. Added an attribute panel. Players can check their own attributes, and automatically improve physical attributes after upgrading. Players are requested to explore other methods of improving attributes. 3. Added a building, the Task House. Players can enter the Task House to receive tasks, and can get a variety of rewards after completing the tasks. 4. Added a favorability system. All the players' actions will affect the favorability of NPCs and Pokémon in the game. When the favorability is too low, NPCs will no longer issue tasks, and Pokémon will have a probability of not obeying commands. When the favorability is high, there is a certain probability of hidden rewards. P.S. The favorability will not be displayed in the form of data, please players grasp it by themselves. 5. Optimized some scenes and fixed some existing bugs. The above is all the content of Ryan's game improvement. It looks simple, but it is also very simple to do. The most important one is the level system. The level can not only roughly divide the strength, but also stimulate the desire of players to upgrade the level and enhance the attractiveness of the game. The level setting of Pokémon is very simple. They have the concept of level and experience points obtained by battle, but ordinary people can't see it, so they can only roughly estimate it. Ryan used the creation point to add the function of checking the level of Pokémon for players. Although it is not completely accurate, it can also understand the current strength of Pokémon. For the level setting of players, Ryan set up an experience bar. When the experience bar is full, it will be upgraded. After the upgrade, the creation point will automatically enhance the physical attributes of the player. There are not many enhanced attributes, but if the level is high enough, the physical fitness may not be as good as Zai, but it is almost the same as a trained knight. As for where the experience points come from, Ryan temporarily set up 2 ways to obtain experience points. One is to obtain after battle. The other is the reward after completing the task, which can also increase the enthusiasm of players to do tasks. Speaking of tasks, after the player went offline, Ryan not only won the achievement reward of player's first online play, but also got 3 lottery opportunities. In addition, the 2 task sections of side quests and daily quests and the store module are activated. There is only one side quest now, which is to build and repair the house of the territory, and the reward is 2 chances to draw a lottery. There are too many daily tasks, such as weeding, cleaning up garbage, and rescuing wild Pokémon. At a glance, there are at least more than 10 tasks. The rewards for these tasks are all elf coins, and elf coins can be used to buy props in the store. The props inside are all the rewards and props that Ryan has obtained and drawn, such as Pokémon food and medicine, and even Pokeballs. It's the price that makes Ryan have the urge to curse, it's simply a profiteer. There are so many tasks that Ryan can't complete by himself, so the task came into being. Let the players complete the tasks and then give them rewards. Of course, Ryan must charge a little agency fee, just a little bit. Needless to say, the rest of the attribute panel, the favorability system is used to restrain players and prevent them from doing too much. This series of updates did not take too much effort. It can only be said that the function of Genesis points is too good. Not only can it be used to make an official website, but it can also help improve the game. But this update also cost him a lot of Genesis points. In addition, players will need Genesis points to upgrade and revive in the future, which makes Ryan's inventory extremely tight. No. I have to arrange for someone to repair the house early tomorrow morning. If I repair one more house, I can get a little more Genesis points every day. Ryan was a little impatient. If it wasn't too late, he would have wanted to find someone to repair the house now. The players also read the update announcement and started discussing in the group. Yiyu, so many things have been updated on the first day. Last night Zifeng, it's normal in the internal test stage, at Silent and Taciturn, you play a lot of games, what do you think of this update? Silent and Taciturn, I haven't played a VR game, but this update is really interesting. Last night Westwind, tell me more. Silent and Taciturn, I won't talk about the update content, it's all introduced in detail above, I just feel that this update makes the game more like a game. Last night Westwind, can you speak human words? Silent and Taciturn. In short, this game is too real. I don't know how you feel, anyway, sometimes I feel like I've traveled through time. Games that are too real will make us, although being unable to distinguish between reality and games allows us to experience a second life, it can also cause confusion over time, and some people may even think that the game world is real, thus escaping from reality. Therefore, this update adds a lot of game-specific features, such as levels and attributes, to make us always aware that this is just a game and cannot replace reality, while also enhancing the fun of the game. Jingle bells, it sounds so mysterious, but I actually think it makes sense. Yais Hikayu, other games want to be as real as possible, but this game actually weakens its own reality. Last night Westwind, you are so right, but you are too tough. You put the official website link directly on the homepage of C Station. Aren't you afraid of being attacked? Silent and Taciturn, why should I be afraid? Only when more people play can I prove that I am not cheating. Besides, as an upmaster in the game area, I can't promote a good game when I see it. Last night Westwind, awesome, awesome, but your drainage effect is really good. Many people have come to the official website forum, and the number of reservations has also increased a lot. I won't say more. I'm going to work. See you tonight. Seeing that no one in the group was talking anymore, Chen Yan also put down his phone. He didn't need to go to work, but he had to update the video. Thinking of this, Chen Yan had to open the Steam platform again and wanted to find a game to review. But now his mind was full of the game Pokémon World, and he had no interest in other games at all. Why can't this game record videos? Your technology is so awesome, can't you add a video recording function? Chen Yan held his head with both hands and wailed. If I could record a video, I could not only silence those who said he was a liar, but also the video of this kind of virtual reality game would definitely go viral, and I wouldn't have to worry about what to shoot. Forget it, just start, and say that I've been criticized for being autistic and need time to calm down. Chen Yan skillfully thought of a reason to delay the update, and then went to take a shower while humming a song. At this time, Ryan didn't know that his simple update had caused so much discussion among players. But even if he knew, he would only sigh in his heart about the players' imagination, and might even agree with them. Right, right, right. You're right, that's what I think. And now, he is worrying about another thing. Chapter 14. The house hasn't been repaired yet, and the problem of spring plowing has arisen again. Ryan rubbed his temples. Are you saying that we don't have many grain seeds, and a lot of farmland is abandoned, so the grain output of this spring plowing may be reduced? Yes, the beast tide came very suddenly this time, and many of the residents did not have time to transfer their own grain and seeds. Although we have some reserves in the granary, the quantity is not large. White went on to explain. As for the abandoned farmland, most of it is on the edge of the territory, close to the firefly forest. It has been severely damaged by the beast tide, and the people in the territory do not dare to farm. After listening to White's explanation, Ryan felt his head hurt again. The food problem is a big problem. If the people don't have enough to eat, they will not only lose confidence in him as the Lord, but may even cause riots. Can't you buy some seeds from other territories? I'm afraid it will be difficult. The relationship between the surrounding territories and us is not good, and they have also been attacked by a tide of beasts. I guess they don't have any extra seeds to sell. With the amount of seed available, how much less food can be expected to be produced? At least 30% to 40%. If no one goes to the marginal farmland, it will be reduced even more. White replied. 30 to 40%. How much grain reserve do we have in the granary? Can we make up for this 30 to 40%? There is still some food in the granary, but most of it has to be lent to the people who have not been able to transfer the food, and some of it has to be reserved for the Earl to pay taxes. In other words, the only way now is to increase the yield per mu. If the number of seeds is insufficient, you can only grow more food with fewer seeds. In fact, this is not difficult. Although he doesn't know how to increase food production, the players definitely know. Blue Star players, like Earth flower growers, like farming very much. You can give players the land that the indigenous people dare not go to for farming, and then spread their farming experience to the territory to increase food production. Thinking of this, Ryan felt much more relaxed. Don't worry, Uncle White. I already have a general idea to solve this problem. It's getting late. You can go and rest first. Yes, you should go to bed early and don't be too tired. White looked at Ryan with some distress. It was really not easy to shoulder the burden of the entire territory before he was 20 years old. Okay, I'm going to take a rest. Ryan also felt a little tired. He had to deal with players and update the game this day, which really exhausted him. When he came to the bedroom, he found that Bounsweet had fallen asleep on the bed and seemed to be mumbling something, looking particularly cute. This little guy knows how to be cute. Looking at the naive Bounsweet, Ryan smiled dumbly. But being cute is a skill. It can at least make me feel happy. I can't rely on it to help me solve my problems. Hey? Wait. A thought flashed through Ryan's mind like lightning. Bounsweet can't, but other Pokémon can. Ryan suddenly thought of a fan novel he had read in his previous life. The protagonist in it used Pokémon to farm and increase production. One sentence in it particularly impressed him: Pokémon is the primary productive force. Ryan thinks this sentence is so right. The more he thought about it, the more feasible it became, and he couldn't help but laugh. Ha 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 ha, in a way, you really helped me. Ryan excitedly picked up Bounsweet and started spinning around in circles. Confused. Bounsweet, who was woken up, looked at Ryan with confusion, wondering why he was so happy. But it sounds like it's because I helped him. I'm really good. Bounsweet stood up proudly. If it weren't for the lack of hands, it would be so high that it would be akimbo. I'm sorry, I disturbed your sleep. Ryan touched the calyx of Bounsweet, hugged it and fell asleep. Time soon came to morning. The 5 players all came online on time and were discussing their attributes in the lounge. My strength and constitution are both 6 points, which seems to be okay, but what does it mean that my intelligence is only 3 points? Suruo Feng, will never approve of it. Looking at Suruo Feng, who accidentally revealed his real name, Chen Yan held his forehead helplessly. With your IQ, it's good if it's not 0. You are defaming me, right? What are your attributes? Suruo Feng asked. My attributes are pretty average. Chen Yan stared at the pattern on the back of his hand and opened the attribute panel. Game ID, Taciturn. Level, LV0. Physical attributes. Strength 4. Agility 6. Constitution, 5. Intelligence 6. Experience value, 0/100. The total amount of attribute points for everyone should be similar, but the focus is different. I don't know whether the attribute points obtained after upgrading are allocated by myself or randomly allocated by the system. Su Ruofeng said indifferently. Whatever, it would be nice if you can improve your attributes. Besides, this game doesn't rely on Pokémon to fight. It's useless no matter how high our attributes are. Chen Yan didn't think so. He subconsciously felt that these attribute points must be useful. Before he could finish thinking, a servant knocked on the door and called them to the study. When they arrived at the door of the study, the players all tidied up their appearance. After all, there is a goodwill system, and they also want to leave a good impression on Ryan, the protagonist of the game. Dong dong. Come in. Looking at the players in front of him who were obviously more serious than yesterday, Ryan was stunned for a moment, and then he realized that this was the function of the goodwill system. This shows that the existence of the goodwill system is still necessary. After a day of adaptation, I believe you have become familiar with this world. I won't say anything extra. I hope you will continue to work hard to complete the task. In order to improve everyone's enthusiasm, the person who cuts the most trees will not only get the special reward I promised yesterday, but also get the right to use a piece of arable land. Hearing this, the 5 players' eyes suddenly lit up. Do you mean that we can dispose of this land at will? Can we build a house on it? Are there any requirements for what we grow? Where do the seeds come from? Does the harvested food belong to us? The players asked in unison. Of course, arable land can only be used for farming. You can plant anything you want, but we only provide grain seeds for the time being. After the harvest, except for a part of the tax to be levied on the territory, the rest belongs to you. Ryan answered the questions one by one. Okay, you haven't got the arable land yet, no need to ask so many questions, go to cut wood first, here a cross should be waiting for you there. Go, go, go. The arable land must be mine. With your thin arms and legs, you still want to snatch it from me. Fuck, Zifeng ran away a long time ago, hurry up and chase him. Looking at the players' jubilant look, Ryan nodded with satisfaction. If the arable land is distributed directly to the players, they may be happy, but they may not pay attention to it and cherish it. It's different if it's a reward. The arable land that you have worked hard to get will definitely be treated well. Tisk, I feel more and more like an unscrupulous capitalist. It's all the panel that has led me astray. Ryan pushed the responsibility to the task panel without hesitation. The players are working so hard, I can't sit idle anymore, I should go find some Pokémon that are useful for farming. Bound Sweet, go call Scyther, we should go find a little expert in farming. Chapter 15. Ironstone Mountain is a mountain range located between Firefly Town and Ironthorn Town. It is not high, about 500 to 600 meters above sea level. The mountain contains a large amount of mineral resources, including precious minerals such as broken iron that can be used to make warcraft equipment. In order to compete for the ownership of these minerals, there have been many frictions between Firefly Town and Ironthorn Town, which is one of the reasons for the bad relationship between the two towns. Nowadays, due to the beast tide, both territories are busy rebuilding their own territories, and there are no extra personnel to mine ores. Therefore, the mountain seems a bit deserted, and Ryan is working hard to climb the mountain with 2 Pokémon. He came here not for the ore on the mountain this time, but to find Pokémon who can help farm. There are many Pokémon on this mountain, and they are not afraid of humans like Pokémon in the forest. Ryan looked around and found that many Pokémon were secretly watching them. In the past, humans often came to the mountain to mine ores, and these Pokémon were also familiar with humans and were not afraid. But they don't have much affection for humans, after all, mining ore is also considered to be destroying their homes and robbing their food. Let me see, most of them are Guaidud and Magnetron, and there are a few rhinoceros. Hey? Is this a tree? It's quite rare. Ryan looked at the Pokémon around him and was amazed. He had only seen them in games and animations before, and it was really different to see them in reality. Unfortunately, none of them are the Pokémon I'm looking for. It seems that I can only look for them in the cave. After walking for a while, Ryan finally found a cave, picked up the torch he had prepared in advance, and told the 2 Pokémon beside him. There may be danger inside, be prepared for battle. Menji. Yo. Seeing that the 2 Pokémon were ready, Ryan raised the torch and walked into the cave. Not long after they walked, a group of black shadows pounced on them. Just as Scyther was about to attack, Ryan shouted. Don't attack yet, get down. Ryan held Bounsweet in one hand and pulled Scyther with the other hand and lay on the ground. A group of Zubats flew over their heads and did not attack them. It's Zubats, are they disturbed by the fire? This group of Zubats were just frightened by the light and wanted to escape. If Scyther had attacked them just now, it would have caused an unnecessary battle. Ryan stood up, patted the dirt on his body, and continued to move forward. Suddenly, several oval creatures emerged from the ground, looking around in confusion. How did they dig here? Who led the way? Before they could think about where this place was, they saw a human looking at them excitedly. Finally found it, Scyther, don't let them run away. Before they could react, Scyther's sharp forelimbs were already on them, and they were staring at them with extremely terrifying eyes. As if asking them, are you touched by my actions? Dare not move. Dare not move. Not bad, Scyther, you are getting more and more skilled, and you know how to scare them with your eyes. Ryan praised, and then let the Bounsweet release the fragrance. After this familiar process, these oval creatures gradually calmed down. Looking at the gophers with brown heads and red noses in front of him, half of their bodies were underground, Ryan was very happy. The Pokémon he was looking for was the gopher. Gophers are good at farming. The soil will be turned over after they pass by, and the feces they produce will make the soil more fertile. And after evolving into a 3-gopher, you can also learn the move of plowing the land, which is simply a Pokémon born for farming. Ahem, don't be afraid, we have no ill intentions, we just want to ask you for a little help. Ryan tried to make his smile more kind, and at the same time took out the prepared tree roots and Pokémon food from his backpack. Then he briefly explained his request to ask them to help with farming. After listening to Ryan's request, the moles gathered together to discuss for a while. They didn't really want to leave their homes. But the temptation of Pokémon food was too great for them, and tree roots were also their favorite food. There were not many trees on this mountain, and they had very little to eat. They were often hungry and had to dig around every day to find food. And the human in front of them promised that as long as they helped to farm, they would plant the trees they liked to eat next to the farmland and provide Pokémon food. This made the moles very excited. Farming was equivalent to walking for them, and it was not difficult to do it. Thinking of the good days of being able to eat while lying down, the moles finally agreed to Ryan's invitation and asked if they could call some more partners. Ryan was naturally eager for it. After a while, some more moles poked their heads out from the ground, and there were even a few 3 moles. They were all called by the previous moles. After seeing the tree roots and Pokémon food on the ground, they also agreed to Ryan's invitation. Ryan didn't expect it to be so smooth, and he led them out of the cave with great joy. It seems that today is really my lucky day. There are no obstacles at all. Can I have some setbacks to temper me? Ryan was very proud, but he forgot one thing. Sometimes the flag should not be set so early, otherwise it is easy to be overjoyed and end in sorrow. Just as he was about to take the Pokémon down the mountain, he felt the ground shaking slightly. The flying mantis next to him looked solemnly at the mountain road ahead. The gophers had also huddled underground early and did not dare to show their heads outside. No. Ryan looked at the big rock snake heading towards them in front of him and wished he could slap himself in the mouth. Why can't I control my mouth? Get away! He quickly took Bounsweet to hide aside, and at the same time directed the flying mantis to dodge to the side. Roar! The big rock snake slammed straight into the huge rock on the roadside, roaring from its mouth, causing a lot of falling rocks to fall down. The flying mantis quickly moved in front of Ryan and blocked many flying rocks with his arms, so that Ryan was not harmed. It waved its arms, preparing to attack the big rock snake, but was stopped by Ryan. He found that the big rock snake had no intention of attacking them. Instead, it kept beating the rock wall with its tail, and its screams sounded very painful. Are you injured? No, you can't see anything from this position. Ryan ventured out of his hiding place and kept changing his position, trying to see whether the tail of the big rock snake was damaged. After dodging several falling rocks that hit him, Ryan finally found a suitable position. He looked carefully towards the tail and found a white object stuck in the gap at the tail of the big rock snake. Is it something like an iron block? No. Why is this thing still moving? The white object was twisting and turning. Is this a Pokémon? And this Pokémon seems to be. Ryan rubbed his eyes to make sure he saw it correctly. It's actually Cocodora. Chapter 16. How could it be Cocodora? How could it be stuck on the tail of the big rock snake? Cocodora was originally a very rare Pokémon, but now it not only appeared in front of Ryan's eyes, but also in this special way. Ryan had many doubts in his mind, but he didn't have time to think about it. The top priority now is how to remove Cocodora from the body of the big rock snake. Bound Sweet, please release the fragrance and try it. Lane tried to calm the big rock snake with the scent of Bound Sweet. But the severe pain cannot be soothed by some fragrance. Even though Bound Sweet has released the fragrance all over his body, the big rock snake still cannot calm down. Thank you for your hard work, please take a rest first. Looking at Bound Sweet, whose body had become a little withered in his arms, Ryan knew that it had really tried its best. Bound Sweet's screams became weak, and it really didn't have a drop left. It's impossible to calm down the big rock snake. Is there any way to restrict its movements? Hey? I really seem to have such a thing. Ryan suddenly thought of an item he won in yesterday's lottery, sticky pills. Isn't this thing used to restrict Pokémon's movements? Thinking of this, Ryan quickly took out a sticky pill. Fortunately, he did not receive all the rewards. According to the rules of the panel, the rewards obtained from tasks and draws can always be stored in the panel, and can be claimed anytime and anywhere, and you can decide the amount you want to receive. But once taken out, it cannot be stored back in the panel, so Ryan only takes out the rewards when he needs them, and uses the panel directly as a storage space. Looking at the sticky pill in his hand, Ryan was not sure whether this thing could restrict the movement of the big rock snake, but he had no other way. He picked up the sticky pill and threw it hard at the big rock snake. Nguyen was seen drawing a beautiful arc in the air, and then accurately hit the big rock snake. After seeing his hit, Ryan waved his hands excitedly. It seemed that his childhood sandbag play was not in vain. After hitting the big rock snake, the sticky pill quickly exploded, and streams of white sticky objects covered its body. The movement of the big rock snake also became much slower at a speed visible to the naked eye. Ryan took this opportunity to get close to its tail and found the Cocodora stuck in the gap. He grabbed Cocodola's body with both hands and pulled it outward with the strength of sucking milk, but the effect was not good. Cocodola remained motionless. Thinking about it, the big rock snake couldn't get it out even if it flicked its tail so hard. With Ryan's small body, it would be weird if he could pull it out. Flying Mantis and Bound Sweet also wanted to step forward to help, but together they couldn't muster a serious hand, so they could only worry on the side. Seeing the big rock snake about to break free, an idea suddenly flashed in Ryan's mind. Why am I so stupid? I'm afraid I was infected by the player named Last Night Westwind. Ryan took out an elf ball, aimed it at Cocodora's butt, and smashed it into it. With the appearance of a red light, Cocodora was put into the elf ball. After falling to the ground, it shook a few times before making a ding sound. Ah! Conquered directly. This was a bit beyond Ryan's expectation. His original idea was to put Cocodora into the elf ball. Then the elf ball will fall to the ground, and Cocodora will break free of the elf ball, so that it will come out automatically without so much effort. In the end, Ryan was ready to destroy a Pokeball, but unexpectedly he succeeded in conquering it. It seems that the reason for being stuck in the gap for a long time has exhausted Cocodora's physical strength, so he was able to subdue it so easily. The big rock snake on the side also realized that the human in front of it helped it after it couldn't feel the pain in its tail. It leaned down and growled quietly towards Ryan, as if to express its gratitude. Just say thank you, and don't take any practical actions. Ryan joked with a smile. But the big rock snake seemed to take it seriously. It signaled Ryan to wait there for a while, then turned and left. After a while, it crawled back and spit out a few stones in its mouth. Is this a gold nugget? There are also moonstones, dark stones, and even grass gems. Ryan looked at the stones placed on the ground in surprise. He really didn't expect that this big rock snake could have so many good things. Seeing Ryan's delay in responding, the big rock snake pushed the stone on the ground forward with its head. These stones were all found when he was digging holes. Although he didn't know what they were used for, they looked pretty, so he collected them. Now it wants to give these stones to the human in front of it, and it doesn't know if he likes it. Of course Ryan likes these stones, but he really can't bear it on his conscience. The big rock snake doesn't know the value of these stones, but does he know it himself? I was really joking just now. I'm not helping you to get anything. Just take all these rocks back. Ryan refused with a sincere expression. But the big rock snake didn't listen to him, and instead blocked the road with his body. That means if you don't take it, you won't be able to go down the mountain. Faced with this situation, Ryan didn't know what to do. This big rock snake was also very stubborn. Ryan really had no choice but to compromise. Well, let's each take a step back. I accept your thank you gift, but there are really too many of these things. I will only choose one of them. If you think it's okay, just nod. If not, then I'll stay here with you. The big rock snake looked at Ryan with a determined look on his face and could only nod his head and agreed to his method. That's right, let me see what I can choose. Before he could choose, Bounsweet had already rushed out from his arms, rubbing his little face against the grass gem, his eyes full of longing. You are quite a thief, you know how to choose the one that is useful to you. Looking at Bounsweet, who was full of expectations, Ryan shook his head helplessly. What else can he do? He is so cute, so he can only agree to it. I'll choose this one. Ryan picked up the grass gem. After seeing Ryan finish selecting, the big rock snake knew that he would not accept any more stones, so he had to hold the remaining stones in his mouth, leaned over again to express his gratitude, then dug a hole and left. Sure enough, good people are rewarded. Ryan couldn't help but sigh. Next, it's time to deal with this little guy like you. He released Cocodola, only to find that the little guy had already fallen asleep. You have such a big heart, that's right. If you don't have a big heart, how can you run into a big rock snake? Cocodora opened her eyes in a daze, and when she saw Ryan squatting in front of it, she was so scared that she turned around and ran away. Why are you running? I saved you, okay. Hearing this familiar voice, Cocodola stopped. Although its head was stuck in the gap and it couldn't see anything, it could still hear the sound. It seemed that the human who made the sound really saved it. So Cocodola walked back cautiously. You must be hungry after being trapped for so long. Cocodola wanted to shake her head, but her stomach made an unsatisfactory sound. Goo goo goo. It could only nodded coyly. Hey, there's nothing to be embarrassed about, but I don't have any iron ore here, so I'll make do with some Pokémon food first. The Pokémon food rewarded by the mission is the basic type and can be eaten by Pokémon of all attributes. Although the taste may not be as good as what they usually like to eat, it is still okay overall. Anyway, this Cocodora was delicious to eat. After it was finished, Ryan asked why it was stuck on the tail of the big rock snake. After Cocodola's gestures, he generally understood what was going on. Chapter 17. This Cocodora originally lived with the tribe, but it resented this kind of unchanging life and was full of yearning for the outside world. So when the parents weren't paying attention, it ran out secretly. I thought I would go back after taking a walk outside and brag with my friends. As a result, it accidentally fell into a cave. It didn't know the way, so it could only wander around in the cave, and inadvertently provoked a group of ultrasonic bats. The group of supersonic bats kept chasing it, and it was so anxious that it didn't even pay attention to the road ahead. Just like that, he bumped into the tail of a big rock snake that was resting in the cave. The above contents were all half-guessed by Ryan based on Cocodola's gestures. It may not be particularly accurate, but it should be similar to the actual situation. Then what are you going to do now? Ryan touched Cocodora's big, round head and felt that it felt pretty good. Quaquo. Cocodora wanted to go home a little bit, and she began to miss her parents and friends. Then I will help the humans and beasts to the end, and find the way home with you. Ryan was really worried about this rather nervous Cocodora. If he let it go on its own, it might bump into a certain Pokémon again. Kuo. Cocodola is very grateful to the human in front of her. Not only did she rescue it, but also gave it food, and now she wants to help it get home. It seems that the parents' statement that all humans are bad is not accurate. This human being is a good person. Ryan, who still didn't know that he had been given the good guy card, was arranging for the gophers to wait for him at the foot of the mountain. After a while, he would go down the mountain to join them. Then he took Cocodola and started looking for the way home. Although Tishi Mountain is not high in altitude, it occupies a large area. Coupled with the complex topography, it is not easy to find a few Pokémon in this vast mountainous area. They searched for a long time on the mountain, not to mention finding Cocodola's home. Ryan himself was almost lost. There's no way to continue searching like this. Don't you have any impression of these roads? Ryan put his hands on his knees and gasped for air. Quaquo. Cocodola shook her head, her voice was very low. It really didn't remember it. First it fell into an underground cave, and then it was carried by a big rock snake for an unknown distance. It had never seen the mountain roads in front of it. Kokodora wanted to give up, but then she thought that if she couldn't go home, she would be alone in the future, bullied by other Pokémon, and might not even be able to eat. The more he thought about it, the sadder he became, and his eyes filled with tears. At this time, the human next to him knelt down and wiped away its tears. "What a big deal, you're still crying here. If you really can't find it, just follow me first, and we'll look for it slowly in the future." Listening to Ryan's gentle words, Kokodora opened its eyes wide, and it felt as if the humans in front of it had turned into light. "Quakuo. Really? Of course it's true. I'll provide you with food and accommodation. You can leave at any time when you find a home. How about it? Do you want to come with me?" Kokodora nodded quickly, fearing that Ryan would regret it. "Then let's go down the mountain first, the gophers are still waiting for us." Quakuo. When going down the mountain, Ryan habitually opened the panel. "Hey? How come the creation points are consumed? They are used to construct the player's body. Has a player died? It seems like something happened. Let's go back to the territory quickly and see what's going on." Ryan quickened his pace down the mountain. Back in the morning, players are working hard to chop down trees. "I'm telling you, why don't you curl up like this? Why don't you take a break?" Suruo Feng looked at Chen Yan, who was still working hard to chop down the tree, with admiration. "You must know that felling trees is a laborious job. Normally, you should take a break after cutting trees continuously for an hour. But this guy has been working continuously for almost 2 hours and has no intention of resting. Do you value that special reward that much?" Chen Yan stopped what he was doing. He really couldn't do it anymore. Now the player's physical fitness is not much better than in reality, and he is already exhausted by now. The special reward is pretty good, probably a Pokeball, but what I value more is the right to use farmland. Chen Yan picked up the water bag and poured some water into his mouth, wiped his mouth and continued. "We also felt it yesterday. This game has a hunger and thirst value. When you are hungry, you have to eat, and when you are thirsty, you have to drink water. Although it is not known yet whether the characters will die of thirst or starvation, judging from the realism of this game, this possibility is very high. This requires us to have a stable source of food and drinking water. Drinking water is easy to obtain. These rivers are clean and can be drank directly. But what about food? We are still in the novice stage. Lord Lane may provide us with some food. What should we do after that? Spend money on it?" Suruo Feng listened to Chen Yan's words with a confused face. He didn't expect that the right to use farmland could make Chen Yan think of so many things. "I didn't expect that I would have to worry about eating while playing a game." "That's right, why don't you just spend money to buy it?" Belle on the side interjected. "But the problem is that we don't have money, and even if we earn money from completing tasks in the future, we will still have to spend a lot of money to buy food, and there will be no resources to cultivate Pokémon. Does it cost a lot to buy food?" Suruo Feng was a little confused. Don't forget that although this game world is magical, the background is similar to the Western Middle Ages. The production technology is still very backward, and the food output is definitely not high, so the price will naturally be expensive. Chen Yan then explained. "And once you have farmland, you can not only produce your own food, but you can also sell the excess food for money. More players will definitely come to this game in the future, and they also need to eat." Oh! The other 4 players all understood after hearing this. It seems that the right to use this farmland is indeed very important. As expected of a professional game zone-up owner, this game is so sensitive. Lao Ye praised repeatedly. "It's nothing. If you play more games, you will naturally gain some experience." Chen Yan scratched his head in embarrassment. Seeing that everyone wanted to praise him, he quickly changed the topic. "By the way, why hasn't Heracross arrived yet? Didn't Lord Lane say he had an appointment with them to meet here?" "Yeah, we've been working here for almost 2 hours, why haven't they come yet? Did they get paid and run away? It's impossible. These Pokémon are quite sincere and kind. They shouldn't do such a thing. Maybe they encountered something that delayed them." While several players were still discussing Heracross, they suddenly heard roars coming from deep in the forest. Then I saw many Pokémon running towards them, including the 3 Heracross from yesterday. Heracross ran up to the player, dancing and gesticulating something. But the players don't have Ryan's understanding, and they don't understand what these actions mean. It wasn't until they saw the giant brown bear running towards them that the players realized that Heracross wanted to pull them to escape together. Damn it! A level 33 Pokémon! Why are you still standing there? Run away! But they wasted a lot of time where they were, and it was too late to escape. Seeing the giant bear getting closer and closer to them, Lao Ye stood up. Sooner or later you will be caught up if you keep going like this. Let me help you lure it away. He stopped, picked up a stone and threw it back. After successfully arousing the anger of the giant bear, he ran in another direction. The other players had no time to dissuade him and had no choice but to continue running out of the forest. Suruo Feng did not forget to turn around and remind. Old Yat, if you climb up a tree and hide, it will definitely not be able to climb up. Lao Ye also listened to the advice and found a big tree to climb up. He thought he was safe. But this giant bear also climbed up the tree with quick hands and feet, even faster than him. Pretend I didn't say anything. Suruo Feng couldn't bear to cover his eyes. This death is too tragic. Chapter 18. The players rolled and crawled out of the forest. After confirming that the giant bear was not chasing them, they collapsed on the ground. Zai Feng, you are so unreliable. You had a bad idea and even asked Lao Ye to climb up the tree, only to be caught in the trap. I want to tell Lao Ye that you called him a bastard. Besides, I didn't know that Pokémon could climb trees. Didn't they say that when you encounter a bear, you can only pretend to be dead or climb a tree to hide? Suruo Feng looked aggrieved, and he reminded her out of good intentions. Except for polar bears, all real bears can climb trees. That Pokémon is very similar to the real brown bear, and brown bears are the best tree climbers among bears. Ziyu on the side started doing science popularization work. I really don't know. Why don't you remind me? I reminded you, but you didn't hear it. Ziyu felt that her sense of existence was too low, and no one listened to her words. You blame me. I have to apologize to Lao Ye when he goes offline. The bear almost flattened him with his paw. I don't know if it hurts or not. Suruo Feng recalled the scene of Lao Ye's death, which was too tragic to watch. It shouldn't be very painful. This game won't feel pain after it reaches a certain threshold. It's very user-friendly. How do you know? When did you do the test? I didn't do a test. I accidentally got scratched yesterday when I was cutting down a tree. The wound was quite small, but I didn't feel any pain. Chen Yan showed the scar on his arm. That's okay, but I don't know how long it will take for him to be resurrected. And according to normal games, death should be punished. It would be nice to go offline and ask him then. The most important question now is how to deal with that Pokémon. Chen Yang was still thinking about his special reward and farmland. If the giant bear never left, how could he continue his career of cutting down trees? That Pokémon is level 33, which is higher than the Lord's flying mantis. We definitely can't deal with it alone. Except for Belle, who had a level 3 orb silk spider, the four of them didn't even have a Pokémon. Their fate against the giant bear was not much better than that of Lao Ye, except that the degree of being beaten was different. It seems that we can only go back to find Lord Ryan. I hope he can find a solution. Several players had no choice but to get up and prepare to return to their territory. As soon as they stood up, the Pokémon around them gathered around them. The place where they used to live has been occupied, and now they have no place to live, so they have no choice but to place their hopes on the humans in front of them. After getting along yesterday, the Pokémon have developed a certain sense of trust in the players and subconsciously want to ask them for help. Players couldn't bear to abandon these Pokémon, so they had to take them back to the territory. This frightened the militiamen standing guard. They saw a group of Pokémon walking towards the territory in a mighty manner, thinking that there was another wave of monsters. Fortunately, someone had sharp eyes and saw the player in the Pokémon, so he didn't blow the horn. Otherwise, if they blow the wrong horn for 2 days in a row, they will be scolded by their neighbors. However, the militiamen did not dare to let the Pokémon enter the territory. The players almost said it was useless, so they could only stay outside the city with the Pokémon. After White learned about the situation, he did not dare to make decisions without authorization. He just sent some food out in person and expressed his apology. Since they knew about the existence of the favorability system, the players were very enthusiastic towards White. They not only waved their hands to show that they did not need to apologize, but also took him to chat with him. After Ryan returned to the territory, he saw this strange scene in front of him. 4 players and Pokémon sat on the floor, playing and playing while eating. And Uncle White, who has always been steady, was also amused by these players and showed a smile that he had not seen for a long time. Ryan was also touched by this picture, but it was a pity that he didn't have a camera, otherwise he would have to take a photo as a souvenir. White was the first to notice Ryan's arrival. He immediately put away his smile, stood up and reported the general situation to Ryan. I understand. Let's let these monsters stay in the castle courtyard for now. You can send a notice when you go back so that the people in the territory don't panic. Besides, Uncle White, you look quite handsome when you smile. You should smile more in the future. Ryan joked. Follow your orders. I'll do it right now. White nodded sheepishly and walked away quickly, fearing that Ryan would see the blush on his face. Looking at White's leaving figure, Ryan couldn't help laughing. It's really rare to see Uncle White like this. These players really have the ability to make him so happy. Turning his head to look at the players staring at him, Ryan said. I already understand the situation. According to your description, that Pokémon should be a trap bear. The circle bear is irritable and very powerful. You are lucky to have escaped from it. It's just that I don't know yet what makes it so manic. Hearing Ryan's words, Heracross, who was cooking, paused for a moment, then hesitantly walked up to Ryan and started gesturing with his hands. It's this gesture again, who can understand it? Suruo Feng complained at the side. Oh, that's it. It's okay. It's not your fault. Don't feel sorry. Ryan nodded while watching, and also comforted Heracross a few words. You can really understand it. Suruo Feng looked shocked. How could he understand this? What is the special ability of the game protagonist? Heracross said that the aroma produced when they ate sweets in the morning attracted the Snorlax. Although they threw the remaining sweets to the Snorlax immediately, it was obviously not enough to satisfy it, so they attacked Heracross and implicated the surrounding Pokémon. Ryan simply repeated what Heracross wanted to say. Wow, this Snorlax is too bad. I thought Pokémon were all gentle and kind. Animals in reality also fight for food. This is the rule of nature. What about our mission? Chen Yan raised his hand and asked, for fear that Ryan would directly say that the mission was invalid. The mission is temporarily suspended. Wait until tomorrow to drive the Snorlax away and continue to complete the mission. If you don't know what to do now, you might as well go to the mission office. There are many daily tasks in it. The players remembered the existence of the mission office. They were busy chopping wood before and forgot that there were other tasks to complete. After the players rushed to the mission station, Ryan also took the group of Pokémon back to the castle. Along the way, they met many people in the territory. Although they still did not dare to approach and only dared to watch curiously from a distance, at least they were not so panicked and scared. Yesterday, Ryan's deeds of hiring Heracross had spread throughout the territory. They all felt that the new lord was a capable person. Trust in Ryan greatly weakened their vigilance against Pokémon. After Ryan returned to the castle and settled the Pokémon, he began to prepare to deal with the Rumple in the forest. It's not that he didn't think about cutting trees in another area, but who knows if the Rumple will follow the smell to find it. Pokémon like it is very vengeful. Since the feud has been made, it can only be beaten and subdued so that it dare not come to make trouble again. Otherwise, it will come to raid from time to time, and how can the players cut trees with peace of mind? If the players can't cut trees, the houses in the territory cannot be rebuilt. The house cannot be rebuilt, and not only can his side quest not be completed, but the number of Genesis points he gets every day will not increase. Looking at the few Genesis points left on the panel, Ryan's eyes ignited with blazing flames. It seems that this circle bear must be beaten. Chapter 19. The level of the circly bear is as high as 33, and its strength should not be underestimated. The highest level of Scyther on Ryan's side is only level 28. Although the level cannot fully measure the combat power of Pokémon, the gap of 5 levels is not so easy to make up. Therefore, you still have to be fully prepared before the battle. I can't count on the players. Uncle White and Beedrill have to stay in the territory. It seems that I can only rely on myself. Ryan was a little helpless. He summoned the players for too short a time, and the players' strength has not grown up. Now he has to do it himself when encountering problems. It will be fine when the players grow up in the future. Ryan could only comfort himself like this. Let's draw a prize first and see if there is anything that can be used. There was an achievement reward before that gave 3 chances to draw a prize, and he didn't have time to draw it. No ceremony, I believe in my luck, just draw it for me. Ryan was full of confidence. Congratulations on winning Pokeballs X3, Pokeballs X3, Pokeballs X3. I'm overusing my eyes, and my eyes are double vision. Ryan rubbed his eyes and read again, but the text on the panel did not change at all. Looking at the 9 Pokeballs on the panel, Ryan decided to worship Arceus before drawing the lottery in the future. He didn't trust his luck at all. But it's not bad to draw Pokeballs, just in time to deal with Kumaru. Ryan thought of the scene when he helped Kokodora out of trouble in the morning. At that time, he could use Pokeballs to hinder Kumaru's attack. Just when he was still thinking about how to deal with Kumaru, Kokodora ran in. Ku. It gestured to Ryan a few times. Do you want to join the battle too? Ku. Kokodora nodded frantically. It was grateful to Ryan for taking it in, and after hearing that Ryan was going to fight Kumaru, it couldn't wait to ask for a fight. You're still young, don't worry. You're actually level 18. Ryan hadn't checked Kokodora's level, and thought it had just been born, but it turned out to be level 18. It can only be said that Kokodora's body is too deceptive. Most Pokémon have evolved to the second stage at level 18, but it's still in the primary stage. You can't judge a beast by its appearance. Okay, I'll take you with me when the time comes, and we'll fight together. Kyuyu. Kokodora shouted excitedly twice. It loves adventure and fighting in its bones, otherwise it wouldn't sneak out. It used to play with its friends in the tribe, so it has such a high level. But those small fights are not real battles at all. It is very eager to have a serious battle. Have a good rest, and we can recover all our strength tomorrow, and then we will fight with the symbols again. Although Ryan really wants to solve the problem of the symbols now and complete the side quest as soon as possible. But Scyther was hit by a flying stone in the morning and needs to recuperate for a while. He can only challenge the Circle Bear tomorrow. Kokodora left with satisfaction after receiving a positive answer. Bounsweet, with the grass gem on his head, jumped to Ryan again. Mang. No. Before Bounsweet opened his mouth, Ryan rejected it. He knew at a glance that this little guy was also asking for a fight. A battle between 20 to 30 level bosses, what are you, a level 8 guy, doing? Aren't you afraid that the Circle Bear will eat you in one bite? Mang. Is not equal to. Don't put on an unhappy expression. Besides, you don't have many skills now, how can you fight? As long as you have a skill that can be used, I will take you. Mang. Really? When Ryan saw it like this, he really hesitated. Could it be that this little guy has other skills? But then he thought, what skills can a level 8 Bounsweet have? High-speed rotation? What's the use of this skill? The only use is to make it easier for the bear to eat it. When it opens its mouth and bites it, it spins at high speed and directly sheds its shell and skin. No matter how he thinks, Ryan feels that Bounsweet has no useful skills, so he answers affirmatively. Really, as long as you have a useful skill, I will take you with me. Menji Meng. Bounsweet smiled confidently, then closed his eyes and began to brew energy, and the grass gem on his head was also glowing slightly. At first Ryan thought it was pretending, but as time went on, a few small grasses slowly grew around Bounsweet. This can't be. Ryan was a little unbelievable and put his hand close to the grass, and felt a special energy from it. It's really a green grass field. Ryan looked at Bounsweet, who was panting with exhaustion, with a shocked face. The green grass field is a little magical skill. Just standing on it can increase the power of grass attribute moves and restore the health of Pokémon on the field. And in reality, there is no round limit like in the game. As long as your physical strength and energy can support it, you can always maintain the field. This skill is indeed very useful, but how did Bounsweet learn it? At this time, Ryan noticed the grass gem on Bounsweet's head. Could it be because of this gem? The effect of the grass gem in the game is that it can enhance the power of grass attribute moves once after carrying it, and it does not say that it can allow Pokémon to learn skills. It seems that these props in the game will have certain changes in reality. Menji Meng. Bounsweet was very happy after seeing that she successfully released the green grass field, and then looked at Ryan with a proud expression on her face, with an expression that was about to praise me. Your skill has too long a pre-swing, and with just a few grasses, it can't have much recovery effect. Bounsweet puffed up her lips immediately after hearing this. Damn, she actually belittled the skills I worked so hard to practice. But I have to admit that this skill is indeed useful. I agree that you can participate in the battle, but you can't get too far forward. You must obey my instructions. Menji Bounsweet's expression instantly changed from cloudy to sunny, and she flew towards Ryan happily. Ryan hugged it and gently stroked its calyx with his hand. In fact, those words just now were just to tease Bounsweet. He was proud of Bounsweet in his heart. It was amazing that she could learn the green grass field move at only level 8, even with the help of the grass gem, which was enough to show that she had a high talent. Besides, Bounsweet worked so hard to learn the moves just to help him, and he didn't want to let her down. In this way, there will be 3 combat forces tomorrow, the 28th level Scyther, the 18th level Cocodora and the 8th level Bounsweet. Scyther is the main force, Cocodora can play a harassing role, Bounsweet assists in the back, and with my props, we should be able to deal with the Circle Bear. Ryan calculated the combat power of both sides in his mind and felt that he could have a 70% chance of defeating the Circle Bear. Even if he couldn't beat it, they could run away 100%. This also made him feel a lot more at ease, but he still prepared to make several more plans just in case. After all, he was not a player and had no chance of resurrection. While Ryan was still preparing for tomorrow's battle, the players had completed their daily tasks and logged off a while in advance. They couldn't wait to ask Lao Ye what it felt like to die in the game and what the punishment mechanism was. Chapter 20. Lao Ye. Ah. Lao Ye. I'm sorry for you, Lao Ye. Eggplant Crying Horse JPG. Suruo Feng expressed his deep guilt towards Lao Ye in the group as soon as he got offline. What a big deal, you made it seem like I was dead. Well, I am indeed dead, but it's not like I can't be resurrected. Lao Ye was very generous and didn't mean to blame Suruo Feng. He knew that even if he didn't climb the tree, he wouldn't be able to run very far. No matter what, thank you. If you hadn't lured the trap bear away, none of us might have been able to escape. After Chen Yan thanked Lao Ye, he continued typing and asked. You shouldn't feel any pain when you die, right? Is the punishment after death severe? There was no pain. First my vision went black, and then I went offline. I didn't even react. The punishment is not bad. No level experience will be deducted. Maybe because I am still at level 0 and there is nothing to deduct? Also, the resurrection time is 1 day. If you die multiple times in a short period of time, the resurrection time will be extended. Resurrection also requires deducting a certain amount of elf coins. Elf coins are the game currency obtained after completing tasks. It is the same as the resurrection time. If you die frequently, more elf coins will be deducted. Lao Ye told all the information he knew. But haven't we completed not a single task? How can you be resurrected without elf coins? I owe you. It will be deducted from the reward after completing the task. After reading the message sent by Lao Ye, Chen Yan thought for a while, then typed in the group. The death penalty mechanism in this game is a bit strange. As soon as Suruo Feng saw these words, he knew that Chen Yan was going to talk at length again. The bench is ready, please start your performance. Actually, you will understand if I briefly explain it. The death penalty mechanism of most games is helpful to the game itself. Take early arcade games as an example. Players can get more game coins by dying. Another example is the online games from many years ago. Players would lose levels and equipment after death. In order to re-upgrade and obtain equipment, they would invest more time and money in the game. Therefore, many game manufacturers will design gameplay such as Siege, and even find some agents to guide players to fight each other. The purpose is to increase the number of player deaths and thereby obtain more profits. But the punishment mechanism of this game is very strange. It is not to extend the player's playing time, otherwise the resurrection time will not be as long as 1 day, nor is it to gain profits from the players. All the game currency is used for resurrection. This mechanism seems to be just to allow players to avoid death as much as possible, and it does not help the game. Chen Yan expressed his doubts. He really couldn't understand why the punishment mechanism was set up like this. Let me tell you, you just think too much. You don't care why they set it up like this. As long as it doesn't delay our fun. Seeing Suruo Feng's speech, Chen Yan just wanted to refute, but after thinking about it carefully, what he said was not unreasonable. I am just a player, why should I think about planning? It seems that the impact of virtual reality games is too great, which makes him always feel that every aspect of this game is not simple. Chen Yan reflected on himself and realized that he could no longer look at this game from the perspective of a reviewer, otherwise he would be tired from playing it. You still have to truly enjoy this game as a player. It's true that I thought too much, and the occupational disease occurred again. In short, it's up to you whether you want to die or not. Time in the early stages of the game is still precious. I understand. When the time comes that you are really in danger, just run faster than West Wind. You're kidding, can you outrun me with your short legs? In the worst case, I'll let the orb silk spider spin silk and tie you up. Damn it. The most vicious woman has a heart. She bullied me for not having Pokémon, right? The group started to get noisy. When the players went online the next day, Lao Ye was not found. It seems that the resurrection time is really one day. Lao Ye will not be online until noon. What do we do now? Continue with our daily tasks. While the players were still discussing what to do today, a servant came to deliver a message. The Lord said that he is going to fight against the trap bears today. Those who are willing to go to the city gate to gather with him, and those who are not willing can stay in the territory to complete the tasks of the mission station. The players looked at each other and made a decision unanimously. Definitely go, I haven't seen a real Pokémon battle yet. The mission can be completed at any time. There are not many opportunities to watch this kind of battle. I want to avenge Lao Ye. So the 4 players came to the city gate and headed to the Firefly Forest with Ryan. It didn't take long for everyone to arrive at the place where they had logged the wood yesterday. I saw a mess all around, and the trees were covered with scratches. This circle bear has such a bad temper. Do you think our lord can beat it? Su Ruo Feng asked quietly. You can definitely defeat it. Have you ever seen a game protagonist defeated by the initial boss? Just watch this battle as a cutscene. Yes, but unfortunately there are no melon seeds, peanuts, or anything like that. It's a bit boring to watch. I have popcorn and Coke, do you want it? Really? Give me some now. Get out of here. You can't hear any good words, can you? Are you really here to watch a movie? Chen Yan's eyes almost rolled to the sky. Ryan didn't know that the players were full of confidence in him. To be honest, he himself was not completely sure that he could defeat the Ursine. But at this point, Ryan didn't think much about it. He took out a can of sweet from the panel, opened the lid, and let the fragrance drift around. Soon, accompanied by the slight tremor of the ground and the roar, the Ursine ran out from the depths of the forest. Roar! It took a look at the sweet in Ryan's hand, its eyes full of greed and ferocity, and then it roared and pounced on Ryan. Facing the aggressive Ursine, Ryan did not panic. He first took out a sticky ball and hit the Ursine accurately, successfully restricting its movement. Then he released 3 Pokémon. Spy, Stare, and Gather Your Energy. Cocodora, Harden and use Rock Blockade. Bound Sweet, use Get Along and prepare to release the green grass ground. Ryan issued a series of instructions. He wanted to take advantage of the limited movement of the circle bear to weaken its combat effectiveness as much as possible, while improving his own combat effectiveness. After this set of skills, the attack, defense, and speed of the circle bear were weakened to a certain extent. Roar! The circle bear also felt the decline in its own strength. It struggled to tear the white sticky substance on its body, trying to get rid of the shackles of the sticky balls. Ryan certainly would not give it this opportunity, and then ordered. Spy, use Split. Spy stopped gathering its energy, and with a flap of its wings, it came to the circle bear, raised its sickle-like arms and chopped it down fiercely. The circle bear wanted to raise its arms to resist, but the sticky balls hindered its movement, so it could only let Spy's attack fall on it. Roar! This move successfully hit the vital point of the Ursine, and it roared in pain. Then use the combo, Cocodora, hit it with your head. Ryan did not hesitate to order the Pokémon to continue attacking while he was weak. Cuckoo! Cocodora gathered energy to its head and then slammed into the Ursine. The Ursine was already unstable due to the attack of the sticky balls and Scyther, and after this collision, it fell directly on its back. Give it the last blow, Scyther, combo. The combo will increase the power of the move after multiple hits. Scyther had hit it twice before, so the power of this combo is extremely strong. Roar! With a wail, the Ursine lay on the ground without moving. Is this successful? Is the Lord so strong? This series of attacks dazzled me. The battles between Pokémon are so intense. I also want to command Pokémon to fight. The players were discussing excitedly on the side. This battle aroused their desire for Pokémon battles. Did he defeat it? Looking at the motionless Bearcat, Ryan was about to breathe a sigh of relief, but he found that Scyther did not come back, but stared at the Bearcat lying on the ground with a serious look. Could it be? Before Ryan could react, the Bearcat on the ground suddenly stood up, looked at Ryan with red eyes, and roared. Roar! Roar! Tisk, this time there is a fight. Chapter 21. Damn it! This circle bear is standing up again. Your eyes are turning red. Are you going into berserk mode? Then can our lords defeat it? Seeing that the circle bear stood up again and became more powerful than before, the players couldn't help but worry about Ryan. Ryan looked at the circle bear with a solemn expression, and he was very confused. Although the ring bear has been knocked down, why can it still stand up and look in better condition than before? Could it be a characteristic? But the two characteristics of the circle bear can only be triggered when it is in an abnormal state, and they only increase the attack and speed, but cannot enter the violent state. Before Ryan could finish thinking, the circle bear had already broken free from Neon Wan's restraints and rushed towards the flying mantis. Get out of the way! Ryan ordered quickly. The flying mantis dodged the attack, and the circle bear's sharp claws landed on the tree behind it, directly breaking the tree in half. The attack power is much stronger than before. With this kind of attack, the flying mantis can only take 2 hits at most, and the third time it may directly lose its ability to fight. No, don't let it hit you, use the shadow clone. The flying mantis transformed into several shadows by moving quickly, making the circle bear unable to tell which one was its real body. Roar! The circle bear really didn't know which shadow to attack, so he changed the target of the attack and slashed at Cocodora with a claw. Cocodora did not have the reaction speed as fast as the flying mantis, so she received a solid blow, and her young figure was directly knocked away. Cocodora, are you okay? Ryan asked anxiously. Quaquo. Cocodora got up from the ground and nodded towards Ryan, indicating that she could still fight. Before, it used hardening to enhance its defense, and splitting was a normal type of move, so it didn't do much damage to it. Ryan was relieved to see that Cocodora was fine, but when he turned around, he saw the circle bear attacking him. He immediately took out a sticky pill and threw it at the circle bear, hitting it accurately again. But the effect of the sticky pill was not good this time. It only trapped the circle bear for a while, and its huge bear claws still slashed down towards Ryan. Hey! At the critical moment, the flying mantis stood in front of Ryan and blocked the attack for him. Flying mantis! The powerful force of the bear's claw made the flying mantis kneel on the ground. It wanted to turn around and fight back, but the next attack of the circle bear came again. Just as it was about to withstand another attack, a pokeball hit the circle bear and absorbed it into the ball. Come on, the pokeball can't trap it for long. Ryan pulled the flying mantis and hit aside. The pokeball indeed failed to trap the circle bear, and after only a second or two, it broke free from it. Ho ho ho! The circle bear was extremely angry now. It didn't take this weak human seriously at first. But this human being can always throw some weird things that make it difficult to move. So it decided to tear the human into pieces first, and then deal with the other Pokémon. Ryan also saw the malice in the circle bear's eyes and knew that it had targeted him. So he said to the flying mantis. You don't need to protect me for a while. I have a way to dodge its attack. You gather your energy first and follow my command later. Hey! The flying mantis wanted to refuse, as it didn't want Ryan to take the risk, but after seeing Ryan's determined eyes, he still nodded in agreement. After seeing that the flying mantis had entered the energy-gathering state, Ryan took out another elf ball and challenged the circle bear. Little bear, do you want another one? The already angry circle bear couldn't stand this provocation, and directly raised its claws to slap Ryan. After seeing it, Cocodora immediately ran over to help resist, but was stopped by Ryan. You can't bear much damage now, so use hardening to improve your defense first. After Ryan finished speaking, he smashed the elf ball in his hand onto the circle bear, and took advantage of the few seconds it was trapped to increase the distance from the circle bear again. After the trap bear got out of trouble, Ryan took out another sticky pill and threw it out. Although the effect this time was worse than the second time, and it only caused the circle bear to pause twice, it still allowed Ryan to narrowly avoid the circle bear's attack. Ho ho! After being trapped twice more, the circle bear's mind has been filled with anger. It doesn't care about anything now and just wants to slap the humans in front of it flat. Even if the flying mantis next to it finished gathering energy and started to attack it, it didn't care and just chased Ryan. Seeing that the distance between the two was getting closer, Ryan threw another elf ball back, but this time the circle bear had a longer memory. It grabbed the pokeball without letting the cap bounce off, and then crushed it hard. "I'll go, is that okay?" Upon seeing this, Ryan had no choice but to run towards Cocodora. "Cocodora, rock blockade!" Cocodora threw a few rocks, slightly delaying the circle bear's movement. By the time the circle bear got rid of the obstacle of the rock, Cocodora had already arrived in front of Ryan and fended off an attack from the circle bear. "Don't let it be used as a target, just hit it with a headbutt." Quaquo. Cocodora ran forward with all her strength, and hit the belly of the circle bear with a jump. The circle bear was knocked back a few steps, then stabilized its body, raised its paw and patted down. Bang! The powerful force directly hit Cocodora to the ground, and even several cracks appeared on the ground. The knockdown Cocodora tried hard to get up, but its injuries were too severe. It tried several times without success. In the end, it fainted and lost its ability to fight. This move is not splitting, it's a fighting type splitting move. Seeing that one strike from the circle bear caused Cocodora, who had improved her defense many times, to lose her ability to fight. Ryan then realized that circle bear was using a tile splitting move, which could cause 4 times the damage to Cocodora. How did it learn the trick of splitting tiles? Before Ryan could think about it, the giant claw of the circle bear struck again. This time Ryan had no other way to avoid the attack. Fortunately, the flying mantis reacted quickly and blocked the attack again. But flying mantis is a Pokémon with high attack and low defense. The 2 attacks it suffered caused huge damage to it, and it can't stand still now. "Flying mantis, can you still hold on? If it doesn't work, we'll retreat first." Ryan had made multiple retreat plans before. If the flying mantis was unable to fight, he was still sure that he could slip away. "Hey!" The flying mantis nodded firmly. As long as it still had any physical strength, it would be impossible for it to escape. Ryan also understood the flying mantis's character of refusing to admit defeat, so he said to him, "Okay. Then let's fight it. It has suffered a lot of damage before, and it probably won't last long." Looking at the panting bear with scars all over his body, Ryan felt that they still had a chance of winning. The flying mantis has already used 2 consecutive slashes before. If it can hit this time, its power will be enough to completely defeat the circle bear. The outcome is just betting on this last blow. "Go ahead, flying mantis, and kill it with consecutive slashes." The flying mantis flew forward quickly, the front blade raised high flashed with an icy cold light. The circle bear also waved its giant claws and slammed into the flying mantis. In order to ensure that the move could hit, the flying mantis did not dodge, but took the attack head-on, and at the same time slashed his double blades downwards. Roar! Hey! Following the collision of the moves, the flying mantis flew directly backwards and hit a tree, losing its ability to fight. The circle bear also fell to the ground and became silent again. "I should be able to defeat him this time." Ryan's eyes were fixed on the circle bear lying on the ground. He used all the methods he could. If it still failed, he could only take the Pokémon to moisturize it first. Roar! But the worst happened. The ring bear got up again and staggered towards Ryan. "How much hatred and resentment you have! You are still beating me after being injured like this. It seems that you can only run away first." Just as Ryan was about to put the Pokémon away and run away, a purple figure spun and hit the circle bear in the head. This time, the already exhausted circle bear was knocked down again and fell heavily to the ground, causing a burst of smoke. When the smoke dissipated, the circle bear was lying on the ground completely motionless, and the purple figure was jumping happily on its belly. That's Bounsweet. Chapter 22. Ryan didn't expect that it was Bounsweet who gave the last blow to the circle bear, and the move he used was still a high-speed rotation that he thought was useless. He now felt that his face was slapped by Bounsweet. But as long as the result is good, Ryan is still happy to be slapped in the face. Menji. Bounsweet didn't know what Ryan was thinking at this time. It only knew that it helped, so it was particularly excited. It jumped to Ryan's side and raised its little face to ask Ryan to praise it. But Ryan was staring blankly at the front and ignored Bounsweet. Menji Menji. Bounsweet was a little angry. It would be fine if she didn't praise me, but now she doesn't even look at me. It rotated the calyx on its head and hit Ryan, which made Ryan come back to his senses. He looked down at the angry Bounsweet and picked it up. Sorry, I was distracted just now. You did a great job this time. You helped a lot in the end. You can get any reward you want. Ryan lifted Bounsweet and praised. His praise was sincere this time, although most of the damage was done by Scyther and Cocodora. But if it weren't for the last attack of Bounsweet, the ending might really be different. Menji. Bounsweet blushed at the praise. It didn't want any reward. It was enough to help Ryan. Can you still release the green grass field now? Menji. Bounsweet nodded to indicate that it was okay. It wanted to release the green grass field before. But the battle went too fast, and Ryan kept leading the symbols to run around, so it didn't know where to put it. Now it still has enough energy. After only a while, it successfully used the green grass field. Ryan released the 2 Pokémon that had been collected in the Pokeball before, and let them lie on the green grass field to heal their injuries. He took out 2 bottles of good medicine from the panel and asked the 2 female players to help give the 2 Pokémon medicine. This battle was very fierce, and both Scyther and Cocodora were seriously injured. Ryan was afraid that their injuries would worsen on the way back to the territory, so he chose to heal them on the spot. After taking the medicine, the 2 Pokémon's condition was visibly improved, and Ryan was relieved. You all did a great job today. Go back to the Pokeball and rest for a while, and then rest well when you return to the territory. Yo! Quu! Ryan praised the 2 Pokémon for a few words, and then put them back into the Pokeball. Let's go and see that Quu. He was very curious about why Quu could enter the violent state. Before he got close, he heard 2 male players muttering something around Quu. If I had a Pokeball now, wouldn't I just capture this bear? This is a Pokémon that even Lord Ryan had to work hard to defeat. Wouldn't I be invincible then? I don't know whether you are invincible or not, I only know that I won't see you in the game then. Have you forgotten that the protagonist of the game has the power to ban the account? Yeah, what a pity. After hearing this, Ryan was very upset. Good guy, this player is very bold, and he still wants to pick his own peaches. If he doesn't teach him a lesson, what will happen in the future? Thinking of this, he coughed a few times and said. Ahem, as you can see, we successfully won this battle. I believe that you have also learned how to command Pokémon to fight through this battle. I hope you can also capture Pokémon that are in tune with you and fight side by side with them in the future. Of course, I still say that it is best to capture Pokémon yourself, which will also help you in future battles. Don't always think about getting something for nothing. At this point, Ryan also deliberately locked his eyes on Su Ruofeng. It's over. What we just said must have been heard by the Lord. Now the favorability is going to drop completely. Su Ruofeng was very panicked, but Chen Yan was very calm. You are wrong. It's not we, it's just you. I didn't say anything bad. You. What do you mean by you? You deserve it. Change your bad habit of talking nonsense. The NPCs in this game are all artificial intelligence and can react to what you say. Especially Ryan is the protagonist of the game. He has the power to ban accounts. We can't lick him fast enough. You dare to offend him. Don't you want to play in this game anymore? Fuck, what should I do? Su Ruofeng was even more panicked. If it was other games, it would be fine. If you don't like it, just quit the game. I won't serve you anymore. But this game is the only virtual reality game. There is no other one in the world. He doesn't want to be targeted by the protagonist of the game all the time. There is no way now. I can only think of ways to improve my favorability later. Chen Yan spread his hands, indicating that he had no way. Su Ruofeng had to accept his fate and thought about how to improve his favorability in the future. Looking at the expressions of the 2 players, Ryan knew that his words worked. Given the fearless nature of the players, if we don't scare them, they might not do anything in the future. After Ryan finished speaking, he took out a Pokeball and was about to capture the Ursine when he suddenly found an unknown object on its head. Hey? What is this? He squatted down and took out the unknown object with his hands. The object was half the size of a little finger, and was diamond-shaped. Its dark color seemed to absorb all the light. Could this thing be the reason why the scorpion was violent? Although Ryan didn't recognize the object, he always felt that there was something wrong with it. In fact, after learning about the news that the scorpion attacked the players yesterday, he had doubts in his heart. The scorpion has a bad temper and is irritable, but it rarely attacks humans actively. Most of the time, it just drives humans away and rarely kills them all. But this scorpion is particularly brutal. Not only did it slap a player to death with one slap, it could also enter a violent state. At first, Ryan thought it was an individual difference, but he found this black crystal stone on the scorpion, which made him suspicious. Especially when thinking about the beast tide a few days ago, according to those who fled back to the territory, the Pokémon that made up the beast tide also seemed particularly violent. You should know that Pokémon will not form a beast tide to attack the territory unless they are forced to do so. But recently, there has been no conflict between humans and Pokémon, and their food is sufficient, so there is no reason for them to form a beast tide to attack human territory. Could it be because of this black crystal? Ryan picked up the crystal and observed it carefully. If it was really caused by this stone, then this beast tide was caused by humans. There would not be such neatly cut stones in nature. Let's take it back to the territory and study it slowly. Ryan observed for a long time and did not find anything special, so he had to put the crystal away and prepare to return to the territory for further research. He successfully subdued the symbols with the Pokeball, and then returned to the territory with the players. When he arrived at the territory, he hurried to the study. He began to skillfully ask for Arceus' blessing. That's right, he was going to draw again. The reason why he was stunned before was that he got the prompt on the panel. Congratulations on your achievement, defeating a strong enemy for the first time will reward you with an intermediate lottery opportunity. According to the panel, this reward should have been a primary lottery opportunity, but because the circle bear's strength increased greatly due to special reasons, the reward was also increased. Therefore, Ryan got a chance to draw a mid-level lottery. This was Ryan's first time using a mid-level lottery, and he was full of expectations for the lottery results. God Arceus, bless me, let me draw. Congratulations on winning. Chapter 23. Congratulations on getting the free shot of Rotom. Let me go, can I still get Pokémon in this lottery? Ryan was very surprised when he saw the results of the lottery. He had only drawn props before, but he didn't expect to get a Pokémon this time. And it's a magical Pokémon like Rotom. Rotom's body is composed of plasma, and it can sneak into various machines and change into corresponding forms. Aerial photography of Rotom is the form it changes into after entering the drone. Although this form of Rotom doesn't have the same combat capabilities as other forms, it does have aerial photography capabilities. It can not only shoot and record battle scenes, but also provide commentary like a referee. I was worried that I didn't have any shooting equipment, so I took an aerial shot of Rotom. As expected, Arceus still loves me. Ryan is very satisfied with the results of this lottery. With the aerial Rotom, you can shoot some videos as promotional animations in the future. You can also take photos of Pokémon to complete the Pokémon Pokédex. The more Ryan thought about it, the happier he became, and he couldn't wait to take the aerial Rotom out of the panel. Aerial shot of Rotom's body is grass green, his head is oval, and there is a triangular bulge in the middle. Under the head is a round body with a camera installed in the middle and 4 spiral wings connected around it. A pair of big blue eyes were staring intently at Ryan. ZZ. The facial recognition was successful and the user was confirmed to be Ryan. Hello Master, Rotom will be at your service wholeheartedly. Hello there. Although Ryan already knew that Rotom could speak human language through the anime he watched in his previous life, he still felt a little uncomfortable at first. Ahem, how should I use you? Why are these words so awkward? Ariel Rotom didn't think there was anything wrong with Ryan's words, and it answered seriously. You can tell me your shooting needs, and I will automatically fly and shoot according to your needs. If you want to operate it manually, please read the instruction manual carefully and then control me to shoot with the remote control. After listening to what it said, Ryan discovered that there was a remote control and an instruction manual in the panel. He was so excited just now that he didn't notice these 2 items. He took out the instruction manual, began to read the contents, and asked. Where were you before I took you out of the panel? Why did you immediately assume that I was your master? Ryan has always been curious about where the items in the lottery system come from. In the past, all the items drawn were props, which could not answer his doubts. But this time he drew a Pokémon that could speak human language, so he naturally wanted to find out. I only gained consciousness when I came to this world. I have no memory of the place I was in before. I only know that serving you is my mission. Rotom's answer did not answer Ryan's doubts. He still didn't know where these rewards came from. But he didn't worry too much. Even if he knew what he could do, he couldn't go in and steal all the rewards. After reading the instructions, Ryan picked up the remote control and tried it. Since it was the first time to use it, the operation was not skillful enough, so the aerial rotom hit the wall several times. After trying a few more times, I was finally able to control it more skillfully. He controlled the aerial rotom to fly outside the castle, and the territory could be clearly seen on the remote control display. If you lower your height, you can even hear the voices of the residents. Moreover, the rotom makes almost no noise when flying in the air, and few people will notice it. Ryan controlled the aerial rotom to circle around the territory and found several players gathering together and talking about something. He lowered the flying height of rotom slightly, and the conversations of the players were transmitted to his ears through the display screen. "Old Yat, it's such a pity that you didn't get to see the battle in the morning. That scene was so exciting." Su Ruofeng patted Lao Ye on the shoulder and said. "Are you feeling sorry for me? Aren't you just showing off to me?" Lao Ye knocked Su Ruofeng's hand away. "And isn't it just a Pokémon battle? It's not like we won't be able to see it in the future," he said in a nonchalant tone. Keep pretending, I don't know who is chasing us and asking about the battle process." This sentence completely broke Lao Yi's guard. He grabbed Su Ruofeng's shoulders and shook them hard. You know what I want to see, but you're still showing off to me. Thanks to me for saving you, I'm going to kill you right now and make you the second player to die. Yanzi, please save me, Lao Ye is crazy about fighting. Why the hell are you even bringing this up? Looking at Su Ruofeng, who didn't hesitate to stab Lao Ye even if he asked for help, Chen Yan shook his head helplessly. He could never change his habit of talking. "Okay, stop making trouble. Our task of collecting wood has not been completed yet. Now that the circle bear has been subdued by the Lord, let's finish the task quickly." Chen Yan stopped the fight between the two. He was still thinking about completing the task and getting a reward. "Okay, I'll go to the castle courtyard to find Heracross, they like me very much now." Lao Ye let go of his hand and prepared to find Heracross. "Why do they like you?" Su Ruofeng asked with some confusion. "Hehe, of course they saw my heroic figure leading away the symbols. Although they don't understand why I'm fine, they admire me very much. One of them even wants to follow me." Old Yi's tone was very proud. He also wanted to show off to Su Ruofeng. "Fuck. That's okay. I would have died if I had known. That's Heracross, such a handsome Pokémon." Su Ruofeng's tone was particularly sour, as if he had eaten a lot of lemons. "This is called misfortune and blessing and misfortune. Forget it, you won't understand even if I tell you." This time it was Old Yi's turn to stab Su Ruofeng. "Well said, this is also a reward for your heroic behavior." A voice came out of nowhere. "Fuck? Who's talking?" The voice seems to come from above. The players looked up and saw the air-shot rotom hovering above them. "Is this a Pokémon? It looks like a drone. Isn't this game set in the Middle Ages? There were drones at that time. Why are you all paying attention to its appearance? Shouldn't the most important thing to pay attention to is that it can actually speak?" "Yes. Why is it speaking human language?" Looking at the surprised faces of the players on the display, Ryan's mouth curled up slightly. Although he has experienced 2 lives, his mental age is only in his early 20s. Naturally, he wants to show off his good things. Aerial Rotom can recognize what he says through the remote control and then repeat it, which is equivalent to him talking directly to the players. "I am Baron Ryan, and I am talking to you through this Pokémon. Don't be surprised, Pokémon is so magical. Your current task is to collect wood as soon as possible. Time has been delayed for a long time. If you can complete the task before returning to the God Realm tonight, then everyone will get the right to use a piece of farmland. The person who collects the most wood will not only get a larger farmland, but also increase the special rewards." After listening to Ryan's words, the players no longer care about drone Pokémon. They are now full of rewards. "Why are you still standing there? Time is running out. Let's go. Go, go, go. I want to cut down 100 trees." The players set off in a hurry, and Ryan also controlled the drone rotom to fly back to the castle. "It's fun to control, but you should control it yourself in the future." Ryan checked the image he had just taken and felt that the picture was a bit blurry. It seems that his shooting skills are not good enough. Let the drone Rotom take pictures by itself in the future. Yes, Master, just tell me when you want to take a photo. Don't call me Master, it sounds awkward, just call me Ryan, I'll give you a name too, it's too unpleasant to call you Ariel Rotom, I'll call you Xiao Luo from now on. Ariel Rotom's voice is similar to that of a synthesized male electronic voice, and the word Master spoken in this voice is really uncomfortable for anyone to hear. Okay Master, my name will be Xiao Luo from now on. I told you not to call me Master, just call me Ryan. Okay, Master Ryan. Chapter 24. Inspired by the rewards, the players successfully completed the task of collecting wood before going offline. Looking at the players who were panting and shaking with tired legs, Ryan couldn't help but feel emotional. I still underestimated the potential of the players. They really dared to fight for rewards. Ryan even felt that if he could give enough rewards when dealing with the Circle Bear before, these players would dare to fight with the Circle Bear. Congratulations, you have successfully completed the task of collecting wood. This is the reward you deserve. Ryan distributed some experience points and elf coins to the players. Experience points are automatically added to them through the panel. As for the elf coins, Ryan asked White to find someone to make them with scrap metal. The elf coins issued by the panel are virtual and cannot be taken out at all. They can only be purchased in the store module. He also couldn't transfer these elf coins to the players, after all, they didn't have a task panel. Ryan had to make some currency himself, and then be a middleman. Players could buy any props they wanted from him with these currencies, and then he would go to the panel store to purchase them. Of course, the price sold to players cannot be the same as in the store, and he still has to earn a little bit of agency fee. Moreover, issuing physical currency can also increase the player's sense of gain. At this time, they are playing with the elf coins with great interest. As for the right to use the farmland, I will have someone take you to choose after you come back from the God Realm tomorrow. Ryan turned his eyes to Chen Yan. The one who collects the most wood among you is silent and taciturn. His farmland area will be larger, and there will be special rewards. Ryan took out a pokeball and a sticky ball and handed them to Chen Yan. The function of the pokeball has been mentioned before. This sticky ball is used to restrict the movement of Pokémon. I used this prop when I fought with Kuriko in the morning, and you saw how effective it was. Chen Yan took the reward with excitement. He originally thought that the special reward was just a pokeball, but he didn't expect that there was an extra sticky ball. This prop trapped such a powerful Kuriko, and there will be another means of life in the future. He happily put away the two props, and heard Ryan say. In addition, you can rent a mole for free to help you plow the land. Mole? What kind of Pokémon is it? It can actually help plow the land. I only know how to play Whack-A-Mole. Don't mice destroy farmland. Seeing the puzzled faces of several players, Ryan decided to take them to observe on the spot. He took the players to the courtyard and found the moles chewing on tree roots. Is this a mole? It doesn't look like a mouse at all, but it looks like an earthworm. Earthworms in reality are indeed good for the soil. Could it be that they also have this ability? They eat tree roots? No wonder the Lord asked us to bring back a few tree roots when we cut down trees. The moles gathered when they saw Ryan. They had been very comfortable these 2 days, with Pokémon food and fresh tree roots to eat every day. Ryan had done what he promised at the beginning, so they naturally had to fulfill their duties and work hard to help humans farm. Besides, if they just eat and do nothing, the gophers will feel uneasy, fearing that Ryan will not want them one day. These people need your help to plow the land, but they don't know your ability, show them your skills first. Ryan squatted down and said to them. Mutter. The gophers nodded, they didn't want to disappoint Ryan. The gophers turned their heads and drilled into the land next to them. As they moved forward, a large area of soil was turned over. After a while, they turned over the whole piece of land. The players were stunned. It's only been a short time, and they are so efficient. The soil is turned over just right, and we can sow seeds directly after a little preparation. Lien looked at the players with shining eyes, knowing that they were already tempted, so he added. You all saw that gophers are good at tilling the land, and it doesn't take long to turn all the soil over. And their feces will make the soil more fertile, which can greatly increase the yield of grain. Lien pointed to one of the gophers and said to Chen Yan. This gopher will be rented to you for free, you just need to find some tree roots for it to eat every day. The other 4 players were very envious when they saw Chen Yan taking a gopher away. They also wanted a gopher to help them till the land. Okay, the rewards have been distributed, you can return to the God realm, and we'll see you tomorrow. Lian pretended to return to the castle. Seeing that Ryan was about to leave, some players finally couldn't help it. Wait! Lord, can we rent these gophers? Old Ye stopped Ryan. I'm afraid not. In fact, these moles are used to renovate the land for those who have damaged their farmland. The reason why we rent it to Silent for free is because it is a special reward for him. You are not eligible to rent it for the time being. Ryan shook his head to refuse, which made the players anxious. Lord, we are also your people. We came from the God realm to help you build your territory. What's more, we have completed many territory tasks. Even if we have no credit, we have worked hard. Please rent it to us. You are right. Ryan pretended to hesitate. Seeing that Ryan was a little shaken, Lao Ye and the others quickly persuaded him. And we are not renting for free, we can pay with elf coins. Ryan was delighted, waiting for you to say this. He pretended to think for a while, and finally gritted his teeth and said. Okay, then rent it to you. When the players saw Ryan nodded and agreed, they all came to pay happily. But when they paid, they found that their elf coins seemed to be a little insufficient. Is the fee so high? My elf coins are only enough for 2 days of rent. You are still lucky. After I deduct the elf coins for resurrection, I don't even have enough money for 1 day of rent. Ryan seemed to see that they were short of money, and specially provided them with a solution. You can owe it temporarily, and then deduct it from the reward after completing the task in the future. The players were very moved after hearing this. They didn't expect that the Lord would care so much about them and be willing to lend them money to rent a mole, even without interest. So when Ryan recommended that they could rent a 3-mouse, they agreed without thinking. The Lord will not lie to us. Although the rental price of the 3-mouse is a little expensive, it turns the soil faster, and it can also use the trick of plowing the land, which can further increase the growth rate and yield of grain. Anyway, they are already in arrears, so why not owe more and rent a 3-mouse? So except for the Commerziu and Chen Yan who can rent a mole for free, the other 3 players rented 3-mouse. At the same time, they also took on heavy debts. But they were very happy and thought they had made a bargain. They expressed their gratitude to Ryan before logging off. After the players all logged off, Ryan returned to the study and looked at the elf coins that had just been issued and returned to his hands. He still felt a little guilty. He clearly wanted the players to use moles to plow the land to set an example for those who were afraid of Pokémon, but he still had to pretend that he didn't want to rent to the players. His purpose was to recover the elf coins in the hands of the players. After this operation, not only did the players help him promote the benefits of farming with Pokémon, but they even made the players owe him money. Why am I becoming more and more like a capitalist? I hope I won't be used as a street lamp by the players in the future. Ryan muttered to himself. Probably not. They thanked me when they went offline. Besides, although they have debts, they have gained happiness, so it's not a loss. Dong dong. A knock on the door interrupted Ryan's thoughts. Master Ryan, the Rumple has woken up. Do you want to go over and take a look? Okay, I'll go right away. Ryan got up and walked out. He had a lot of questions for the Rumple. Chapter 25. Ryan came to the lounge and saw Kumamoto eating Pokémon food as soon as he entered the door. He saw it stuffing food into its mouth with its 2 bare paws, so fast that it left after images. Good guy, how long have you been hungry? Ryan smacked his lips. Kumamoto also noticed Ryan at this time and slowly stopped the movement of his hands. Hello, how was your rest? Ryan raised his hand to say hello to Kumamoto. But when Kumamoto saw him raise his hand, he quickly protected his head with his paws and made a woohoo sound. Am I that scary? Ryan put his hand down awkwardly. It seems that the previous battle has left Kumamoto with a psychological shadow. When it saw Ryan raise his hand, it thought he was going to throw those strange props again. But this also shows that Kumamoto still has memories of the past, which is convenient for Ryan to ask some questions. He walked forward slowly, saying words to comfort Kumamoto. Don't be nervous, the battle is over, I won't hurt you. After hearing Ryan's words, the bear put down his paw and looked at Ryan cautiously. It saw Ryan smiling and had no malice on his face, so it was not so scared anymore. So it stretched out its paw and pointed at the Pokémon food on the ground. When Ryan nodded, it immediately grabbed the food and started eating. Ryan was not in a hurry, just watching quietly beside him. To be honest, the bear ate really delicious food, which made him a little hungry. After the bear finished eating all the food and burped with satisfaction, Ryan asked, "Are you full? Do you want more?" The bear shook his head and patted his round belly, indicating that he was full. "Then can I ask you some questions? Did you participate in the beast tide a few days ago? Who put this black crystal on you? Is it because of this crystal that you became violent?" This series of questions made the brain of the circling bear crash directly. It scratched its head, not knowing how to answer. Seeing the puzzled circling bear, Ryan knew that he was a little anxious. He stabilized his mentality and continued. "Just tell me about your experience these days. The more detailed the better. Don't worry that I don't understand. Xiao Luo, help me translate." Ryan turned his head and ordered the air-shot rotom behind him. "Okay, Master Ryan." After Ryan's repeated rejections, Xiao Luo finally stopped calling him master, and called him master like the servants in the castle. In the past, Ryan could only guess what Pokémon wanted to express, but now he has the air-shot rotom, and can accurately know the meaning of every sentence of Pokémon. Through the narration of the circling bear and the translation of Xiao Luo, Ryan knew the truth of the matter. It is true that the black crystal stone made the Kumhov go berserk, and this crystal stone also triggered the beast tide a few days ago. According to the Kumhov, these Pokémon originally lived normally in the forest. Although food was scarce, they could still survive and had no intention of forming a beast tide. But a few days ago, several humans in black robes came, and the leader controlled them with a Pokémon with a big nose. Then they placed black crystals on the powerful Pokémon, sprinkled some black powder on the weaker Pokémon, and then left. After the black-robed people left, the Kumhov suddenly had a strong desire to destroy and became very irritable. And their hearts were full of resentment towards humans, thinking that humans had taken away their homes and robbed them of their food. So these Pokémon formed a beast tide and began to attack human territory. They were intercepted by humans on the way, and many Pokémon entered the berserk mode during the battle. This also included the Kumhov. According to its description, it automatically entered the berserk mode after receiving a lot of damage. Although its strength was enhanced after it went berserk, it lost its rationality and only wanted to destroy everything in front of it. It exited the berserk mode after fighting for a while. At that time, it was extremely weak, and its body's instinct prompted it to flee the battlefield. But it was still affected by the black crystal, becoming violent and angry, and hating humans. So after smelling the sweet aroma, it would directly grab it, and chase after the players when it met them. It didn't become calm until it was knocked down by Ryan. At the end, the circle bear looked at Ryan timidly. In its memory, it seemed that it beat a human to pieces. It was afraid that Ryan would be angry with it and might even kill it. Ryan also saw the panic in the circle bear's eyes. "Don't be afraid, I know that what you did before was not your intention, and that human is not dead but alive and well, you don't have to feel guilty about it." He patted the circle bear's paw to comfort it. "I have understood the details. What are you going to do next? Return to the forest or stay with me?" Although Ryan has already subdued the bear, he does not want to force it to fight for him. He wants a like-minded partner, not a tool for fighting. The bear hesitated for a while, pointing at the empty bowl on the ground and growling softly. "It is asking if it can eat this kind of food every day if it follows you." Xiao Luo translated on the side. "Of course you can eat it. I have plenty of Pokémon food here. You can eat whatever you want from now on." Ryan waved his hand and promised boldly. The Pokémon food in the panel shop was not expensive. He could afford to raise even a Kirby, let alone a trap bear. And there are extra meals from time to time. Ryan took out a can of sweets and waved it in front of the circle bear. Circle bear's eyes lit up after seeing Tian Tian, and his head nodded like a rattle, indicating that he was willing to follow Ryan. "Okay, here comes another foodie. I'll leave this can of sweetness to you to replenish your nutrition. Recuperate here and we will be companions from now on." Roar! The circle bear roared happily, hugged Ryan and rubbed him. "Stop rubbing it, your saliva is all over me. Eat it quickly." Looking at the circle bear enjoying the sweetness with an intoxicated expression, Ryan smiled helplessly. Except for Flying Mantis, he has tamed 3 Pokémon in total, 2 of which followed him because he was in charge of food. It's true that a Pokémon will never be a slave unless it has food and shelter. My bound sweet is better. Chun Chun is attracted by my appearance. It's not as superficial as they do, and they only know how to work. By the way, where did Bounsweet go? Bounsweet is practicing the green grass field move in the courtyard. It feels that the last battle did not help you well, so it is working hard to improve its strength. Xiao Luo replied. This little guy is so adorable. Ryan was very touched and wished he could hug Bounsweet now. Forget it, let's not disturb it for now. Please call Uncle White and tell him that I have something to discuss with him. Understood, I'll inform him right away. After Xiao Luo flew away, Ryan took out the black crystal stone and looked at it carefully in his hand. Are you the men in black robes? A bunch of pretenders. I will definitely catch you. Ryan held the crystal in his hands, his eyes full of determination.